Now San Francisco
back behind cover. Yeah. The rest of the Shock did not get back behind cover.
Yeah,
now you're going to see the first control taken here by the Titans, and that percentage starting to accrue.
Right, and as they build their control percent, you got to think back to yesterday and Titans match again against New York. And one of the criticisms with them, you and I were talking about this earlier, was that Solomon Sue was a little bit out of sorts in that match. This time, coming in, getting a couple kills early, they did a good job of separating some of the members of San Francisco and capitalizing on that this time.
Yeah, they put the pressure on and they split them on the retreat.
Yeah, here we go.
This time you can see Sinatra on that off angle. You'll see him on the Zarya constantly trying to get behind the tank.
Super getting a bit low. There's the Graviton Surge coming out. Solomon Sue using his ultimate here. Luckily, Violet has his Transcendence as well, keeping people healed. Now Bumper, low health, has to back away. Choyobin has to back off himself too. Actually, Super now the one in trouble. There's a big hammer from Bumper, knocking down so many members of Shock, but the sound barrier comes in to save them. Meanwhile, Twilight pops his heal on the other side, and they get Bumper. San Francisco cutting through the healing of the Titans, and it looks like they should be able to flip this point over.
Yeah, Sinatra found a great Graviton Surge. Another grab for Solomon Sue coming in. Can he get value? Does end up taking out Super, so the point is not flipped yet.
Yeah, but it looks like San Francisco, I don't know, are they going to? They get to. Okay, so the Titans electing to just play it safe and wait for some of the members to come back, fight it as a full unit.
Yeah, they were going to have to enter that 4 versus 5, so I definitely agree. No ultimates available for the Titans, and they did buy some time with that Graviton Surge, so not a complete waste. That Zarya ultimate pulling everyone together on the Shock side, but Shock still flipping the point. Now it's going to be a retake opportunity here for the Titans. They are poking. They're trying to...
Oh, Super! Ooh. Man, Super just got a little bit too far ahead. It was an easy pickup for the Titans. Bumper low as well. Both Reinhardt's down for each team now. Violet drops, and that's a lot of healing gone for Shock. It's going to be Vancouver with the advantage for the rest of this fight. They're going to use the Graviton Surge anyway, but Twilight there with the Transcendence. He's got the healing. Doesn't stop them from losing Slime, though. But San Francisco still on the ropes. Luckily, that self-destruct kept them safe during the grab, but I don't know, man. Titans still looking okay, but the tanks have come back. Now with the sound barrier, Shock pushing forward again. It's a long, protracted fight here. Choyobin flees for his life. Can the Titans hang with it? Bumper, sub 100 health. Oh, he was down to 9 health for a second there.
And that's
sub 10 health.
That's a huge elimination that wasn't picked up there by the Shock.
Another shatter comes in. That's going to cost Hawksall his life. These teams trading blows during the middle of all of this. San Francisco is still gaining percentage. They're still getting towards that 100% they need to win the round, and they're finally going to push the Titans away.
Yeah, that, and also a late sound barrier. So Slime using that Lucio ultimate. Sinatra playing aggressively, trying to get that elimination. They do.
It's aggressive grab, man.
That's a great
Crazy,
play.
That one. Yeah, deciding to just keep the Vancouver Titans locked up at the door. Almost 90% for the Shock already, so why not, right? Getting aggressive now, Bumper down yet again. Titans have just had a hard time keeping that Reinhardt alive, and they might have to give up this point. Going to be 95%. So close for the Shock to take this first round.
Yeah, there's going to be a Lucio backcapping right here. Can he get to the point in time? No, he gets moved off. He gets moved.
Moth. Shock.
Yeah, Moth gets there in the nick of time with Rascal to move that Lucio before he can touch. No overtime, and Shock make a dramatic comeback.
Yeah, well, that was just a great round from the San Francisco Shock, and you saw both teams kind of playing their game plan of mostly separating that Reinhardt, separating the big main tank away from the rest of the team, eliminating him early. Shock just a little bit better at doing that and getting the follow-up kills. So we move on to our second round here on Lijiang Tower. It's going to be the night market. If San Francisco can win this round, they'll take the map. Titans have a chance, though, to tie it up, send us to the third round here in our first map, and that would not surprise me one bit, Month.
Yeah, I mean, it was narrow yesterday.
Sure was.
Also yesterday, we did see the Titans drop the first point to the NYXL before coming back and winning Control 2-1 here on Lijiang. So
fair enough.
They obviously have that experience to mentally bounce back here.
That's right. Team's positioning here as the point gets ready to unlock. Just kind of trading a little bit of damage, building those ultimates up as best they can. San Francisco rushing in with that Lucio speed boost. On the Titans right now, Moth has to back off to keep himself safe, and Shock on the outside looking in right now. Are they going to push forward here?
Yeah, Shock playing behind cover. They're going to try and push in.
All right, point unlocks now. Janu poking in a little bit on that Diva, has to back off. He's really low health. Hawksaw in a lot of trouble. Ooh, that's a fast Transcendence coming out from Violet. Twilight has his as well. He's going to use it right away. These long, protracted fights between both teams. it's a knife's edge, man. As soon as one team makes a tiny mistake,
that's a stun!
That's right, Bumper cut short in the middle of his ultimate animation, didn't actually get the stun off, and now the Graviton Surge delivers. Bumper nearly goes down, but now the reverse grab comes in, and Bumper charges through for the kill onto Rascal, and finally, one team takes the lead, and it is the Titans here on Night Market.
You can see how evenly matched these teams are. Normally, fights do not go this long. Somebody dies, but both of these teams play very well when they lose a member from behind, and that's what we saw with the Shock in that last point, was that even if Super dies first, Sinatra is still there to provide most of the team's damage on the Zarya, and they will keep fighting in a disadvantageous situation, and they can win. Same thing with the Titans.
Oh yeah, this has been a great match so far already, man. It's like both teams juggling like a dozen chainsaws. As soon as you drop one, it's all over. Titans trying to go back in again. They've got the sound barrier for the extra shields, but Bumper, he's down. He went in a little bit too aggressive, and it really looks like the Shock are going to be able to flip this one over to their favor.
Titans playing right into the Shock's hand. They have two support ultimates up, and Shock are willing to invest that sound barrier for the win. Bumper diving in there was exactly what the Shock wanted. Titans didn't have very many tools, so it looks like they were trying to get a pick off and see if they could hold on to the point, because otherwise, if they fought that straight up, they probably would have lost. So a bit of a Hail Mary there from Bumper. Now they're going to come back in. Look at the blue check marks in the top. Those are the ultimates that are available. They accrue based on damage and healing by each player.
One of them just used right now, Graviton Surge for the Vancouver Titans. Oh, Reverse Shatter comes in, knocks down a few members of the Titans, but they managed to stay alive for now. Janu sending in his self-destruct, but it's Sinatra laying on the damage. 3K with that Zarya, and San Francisco holds strong. They are up to 32% and growing.
Vancouver Titans' ult economy is busted right now. You look at those low percentages. It's very difficult to retake if you don't have ultimates to push forward, whether it's a support ultimate to provide healing or cut extra HP for protection. Shock still low on the ults as well.
Here we go again.
But they have the cover advantage because they're playing on the defense.
Titans got to make something happen here. I mean, they probably might just push here, get a little bit of ultimate charge, try to build up for a larger fight later. See how aggressive they want to be. The answer is usually very with the Titans. They've got Super a little bit separated there. I don't know. That was a risky moment there for the Shock. They have to give up some ground, but now with the Transcendence, they can push back in with all that AoE healing coming out of the Zenyatta. Still, though, nice shatter onto Rascal. Can they finish him off? Sound Barrier comes in from the Shock anyway. Rascal down regardless. They couldn't keep him alive, and now the Titans with the advantage. Oh, but that was a big shatter coming in from Super. Luckily, the extra shield
going
with the
for the grab anyway.
That's right, because they had the shielding to stay alive. That lets Soman Stu get in there and do the damage with the Zarya, and it will be the Titans flipping it again.
Yeah, late grab, though, from the San Francisco Shock. I mean, you look at Sinatra throwing that one down, and it does cluster up the member of the Titans, but they had too few people. They were a little bit desperate right there. Late sound barrier from Moth as well after a member of the Shock had already fallen.
He had that. I mean, it was so close.
It was very close.
It was a matter of milliseconds if he would have been able to save Rascal's life in that situation, but you can't be missing those if you're the main support on the team. You got to get those shields in there in time.
Yeah, now the Titans pretty comfortable right now, considering that they do have that Graviton, one of the most key ultimates in Overwatch. They're going to drop it.
There it is again. They trap Super up against the wall there. Oh, that's going to open up a shatter for Bumper, but he doesn't really land any stuns on anyone with that one. Janu trying to disengage with that self-destruct. The boop comes in, but no kills. It's going to be Violet jetting his way in there with the Transcendence again, allowing the Shock to be more aggressive with that extra healing here. Trying to jump onto Rascal, finish him off, and they do. Great pickoff by the San Francisco Shock. They're fighting a 6v4 now. Somansu strikes back with a kill onto Super, but it looks like Shock might have what it takes to flip it, and just in time because it's 99% for the Titans. We're into overtime, but Shock flip it around to their side, and now they are over 90% themselves.
It takes time to get these respawns in, so Bumper dying late is a huge stagger elimination. The Titans are going to have to try and fight this, but they can't even get to the point. The Graviton and to pump out the stun, and San Francisco 2-0 slamming the Titans.
A fantastic first map for the San Francisco Shock. Great play at the end of that by Rascal just to keep the enemy Brigida out of the door. Quick break, and when we come back, we'll see if the Titans can tie things up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Welcome to Assist of the Week, presented by State Farm. AKM on the Dallas Fuel was under assault by the Houston Outlaws Winston, played by Muma, and just about to get knocked out when the Fuel's own Unko stuck a clean sleep dart to save his teammate and win the fight.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League Stage 2 Finals. I'm Mika Burton, and I'm here with a very, very special guest, Jen Hill, the voice of Ash.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning. And
Good morning, everybody.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thank
you.
you.
Are a mom.
I am a mom.
I have to know, what does a typical Mother's Day look like in your household?
It looks like getting awakened very early by my kid who wakes up at like 6, well, now 6:30. And we get up, we hang out, we go outside, we look for bugs, and then we go get my favorite tea and get him a treat and go hang out. Yeah.
I like looking for bugs. Is that that's a tradition in your house?
He's 8 going on 9, so it's all about the bugs.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
And the fart jokes. Yeah.
And as a professional voice actor, did story time look any different in your house? Was it a little bit more fun?
I didn't mean to make it look different, but I realized that it did the day I was reading my kid a story, and he starts directing me. He's like, "That's not the voice you used yesterday," and I was like, "Oh, I don't remember the voice I used yesterday."
Oh no, you have to stay consistent.
Oh yeah, he like expects certain things.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Don't do that voice, Mom. I don't like that one."
Oh my! Well, speaking of voices, you do a lot of amazing voices in different films and different video games.
Yep.
Do your kids recognize your voice?
I never told him what I did until
Oh.
he was about 6 years old, and he found out by accident what I do.
How did he find out?
I was at dinner with some friends, and I have a Guinness record because I've done a lot of games. And
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's random. And somebody mentioned that. He was like, "What, Mom?" And I was like, "It's just this thing I've been doing for a long time." He's like, "I want a Guinness." I'm like, "It takes a long time. Just eat your food."
And that's how you get a Guinness World Record, is you just eat your food.
No, you just show up. You just like to work. You just like to work.
And it is Sunday morning here on ABC. There are a lot of moms out there watching Overwatch with their kids right now. So do you have any messages to those moms?
Yes, happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much, and I sure hope you're getting some sleep.
That is fair. It is very early. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been wonderful having you.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody out there.
So that is all we have. Back to you, casters. I know you're not moms, but happy Mother's Day.
Yeah, I mean, I think Schwarzenegger was in a movie about that happening, but I don't think that's going to happen for us. No, it's all right. But anyway, so no sleep during this match, I think, because that first map was insanely exciting. The Shock looking really, really good today, actually.
I mean, Bumper said yesterday after the NYXL game that he thought that one of the reasons why they won was that he was dying first in a lot of team fights, which gave them opportunities. I disagreed with that when he said
that's
it.
a very Bumper thing to say.
I disagreed with that, where he said that New York pivoted after halftime in order to focus him more. I think is actually a huge problem. I think that he is dying first a lot. I think that they are using a lot of resources, including Zarya, projected barriers onto him, Brigitte armor packs, and he's still going down early, which leaves you in a player down situation, basically a power play for the other team.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to win a 5 versus 6 in Overwatch, even if you are potentially the best team in the world.
Yeah, exactly. It's been interesting that no team up until now has really been able to punish the Titans for Bumper's style of kind of being super aggro. And it's weird because he does tend to seem to die a lot early in these fights, but he doesn't take as much damage as a lot of other Reinhardts in the league and all that. But at any rate, at the end of the day, the Shock are finally the team that are going to be able to appropriately punish that. We definitely saw that map number 1. Now, as we go ahead to our second map, which is going to be King's Row, I think we're going to see more of the same. Yeah, hybrid map. You unlock the first point, kind of King of the Hill style. You get a payload, you push it to the end of the map, then you flip sides.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
This map, too, is the Titans' best map. It is loser pick, so they have selected King's Row. They actually beat the Shock on King's Row in the last finals. They're 8-0 on this map. This is their best map statistically. San Francisco's Shock only 4-2, so no surprise they would pick this one.
Well, San Francisco on the attack first, so a chance to set the pace here, and they kill Hawksall right off the bat. It's a 6v5 immediately in favor of the Shock, and that is exactly what you need to take the point early. Titans might, well, I think they're going to have to try to fight a little bit, or they're going to lose more people on the way out, but just trying to disengage. They're going to have to give this point up early. Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, and speaking of that first pick, Danny Lim, one of our insiders, spoke to the Titans before the game, and the Titans said they were most concerned about Violet. He's a young player, he's a rookie, and him coming in, they said he didn't have the finals experience last time, but now that he has that under his belt, they think he's going to perform to his usual standard, and that would be the difference maker. And that first pick gives us a lot of information right there. Huge Lim.
So you got to be worried about the Zenyattes, man. They can be so deadly from long range. There's no damage fall off on that projectile as it travels, so you can get picks from a long way away. Meanwhile, rally now from Rascal as they walk in. Graviton Surge comes in from the Titans. Where are the follow-up kills? Bumper tries to come through, doesn't get one with the charge. It's going to be the Transcendence for the Titans as they just try to keep this fight going. The Shock back off. They are more than happy to oblige, and they're going to walk forward now with another kill onto Hawksall. They have got the team separated. The Shock are dominating right now.
And the thing about the Titans yesterday is that they played a close match against the NYXL. The XL were playing pretty defensively as they normally do.
Yeah.
And we often, throughout this season, have talked about the Shock being an aggressive team. But if you look at the tape from these playoffs, they've been playing pretty passively overall. They've been waiting for opportunities. They've been waiting for teams to all-in super. Then they double down, throw the bubbles onto him, and that's when Sinatra goes crazy, right? Meanwhile, Titans, they tend to play in open ground and use a lot of resources early, and that's going to be a massive shatter!
That is an enormous Earth Shatter. 4 people knocked down, but the Titans strike back. How did they do it?
The counter shatter was there. So that is the key thing, is that the Titan slime did not get shattered. So on the other side, the Earth Shatter stuns all members in front of the Reinhardt in a cone.
watch
And
it
if you
again.
look at Bumper here, he's not going to get shattered himself. He's going to jump up right now, and he's going to get the counter shatter in, but there is no sound barrier to provide all that additional shield HP on the side of the Shock, so Bumper gets the better side of it.
Well, it's funny that he just happened to be high enough in the air to not get shattered himself. There's situations where that goes under the shield and you're down for the count too. So
I mean, Moth got the boot bin, so
yeah, might have ended up favoring the Titans though more than the Shock there. Bumper down anyway, Moth down as well. So it's a 5v5, but the Titans without their tank right now as the Shock continue to push forward. It's looking pretty good for the end of point B if they can finish off this fight. We'll see. Everything very scattered right now, actually. The Titans kind of coming in behind the Shock. The positioning is odd right now between the two teams.
I mean, it is, but you can see this payload is going to start moving again here pretty soon.
Should soon, yeah. The Shock really fighting it. Okay,
Another
that was a big
big
shatter, but Violet had the Transcendence there, so he kept everybody healed, and that unlocked Super to get the charge onto Twilight. So it is a man advantage again for the Shock, and they are going to grind their way through the end of point B.
Yeah, Sominsu being a little bit more conservative with his self-bubbles today. He did die a lot to self-destructs yesterday because he would use it early and not have it get caught out in the open and just die to a Diva Bomb. This time, not going to be the case, but even so, San Francisco able to punch through right now. Yeah. They do have that Graviton Surge available. However, Titans have the same, and Titans can play aggressively. They have the rally to get everyone on their team armor from the Brigade Ultimate.
Right. Titans using that Brigade Ultimate right now to get the armor, but it's going to be the Graviton Surge coming in from San Francisco. Violet with another pick onto Sominsu. We talked about how dangerous that guy is, and he's proving it yet again. The Shock still pushing this payload forward, and they are getting really close to the end of this attack round. Janu gets D-Mech. That is huge. They needed that Diva suit for the defense.
Now you see Super right now with the shatter. Comes around,
great
big
shatter
on the side. Bubble's going to save Bumper, though.
Fantastic Earth Shatter from Super, eliminating Slime here. And now Bumper, he's not going to last much longer himself. Maybe he will. Transcendence comes out just in the nick of time for the Titans. But as soon as it's done, what are they going to do? They're going to lose Hawksall, and they're going to lose the attack round. Shock setting a blistering pace here on Kings Row, here on, objectively, the Titans' best map.
Yeah, Sinatra really doing a number on Sominsu as well, having significantly more damage. 34% of his team's damage compared to 24% for Sominsu.
Wow. Well, the Titans reeling. We'll see if they can measure up when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
We did pretty good last map.
Stay focused, though. These guys don't let a loss like that affect them at all. They've been in this situation a million times.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're just going to come back stronger after that, okay?
Yeah. They'll make
But
adjustments.
don't let up. Don't let up.
Yeah.
We can make it.
Shock knowing they're in for the long haul here, and it's going to be a long one. Now, Monty, there was a lot to break down in that last round, wasn't there?
Well, first off, I mean, the Shock are right. They know this from experience. Game 7, the final game of our last stage finals, the Shock had a pretty good time on Rialto, and what happened was they were on attack first. The Titans ended up bouncing back and setting a time record in the Overwatch League on Rialto. So this is very wise words, I think. And also, as we tend to look at these team styles, Bumper actually did the most damage on the Titans. And I think that there is an issue with the way the Titans are playing right now, in that if you look at their playoffs, what they'll do is at the start of a fight, they'll use Sominsu's bubble, and Bumper will start swinging with the cover of the bubble. What this does is get Sominsu energy and charges Bumper's ultimate percentage. But what happens is it leaves an 8-second window where they don't have ally bubble. Meanwhile, Shock, they'll wait till Super gets low before using the bubble onto him. So they sort of bait people in, and Sinatra finishes them off. It's why Sinatra, one of the reasons why he's doing so much damage right now. And the Titan style, I feel like it's really been sort of decoded. This attack is critical. If the Titans can't win on their best map, they are going to have a really rough time in this series.
It's starting to look like download complete, man, for the Shock, reading the Titans. We'll see if they can turn it around here on their attack. 3 minutes and 20 seconds in the time bank for the Shock. So quite the bar set for Titans to have to meet. They're going to have to do this quickly. Poking right now, Sominsu building up that damage. He's got a lot going on that Zarya at the moment. They're looking for the opportunity for the pick right now. Going aggressive. There's the shield on the Bumper as he walks forward. Gets booped back, though. Now that shield down. They need to play it safe again. Like you said, those shields, those Zarya bubbles, need to be used sparingly.
And you see Bumper goes in and gets the hits in. Meanwhile, they save it for Super while he's backing off.
Yeah.
So it's a much more defensive game that we're seeing from the San Francisco Shock right now. Now, Sinatra loves to take these off angles and get behind the team.
All right, rally coming in now for the Vancouver Titans. They're giving their team that extra armor with the Brigade Ultimate to push forward onto the point right now. Shock just waiting it out, though.
Sinatra's
got that grab. He's ready to go, man. We're on the same page. Bumper, the shield is down. They have to back off. They knew the grab was coming in, and that opens up an opportunity for Shock to push their way back on the point. Oh, what a flank, though, for Bumper. Bumper, how does he do it? He went around the side. Shock did not expect him to be there, and that's a huge pick on the Super. Shock, though, they're going to throw everything they've got at this. They need to try to hold the point.
And they're always confident in Sinatra to deal the damage even when a player down. They're going to try and win this.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to work out this time, though. Bumper goes down, but the Titans still with the numbers advantage on the point, and they will get the payload moving.
And speaking of coming in stronger, Doa, San Francisco Shock, they blew their entire ult economy.
Yeah.
And Super's going to get split spawn. The spawn room does change as the cart advances.
Oh, Sinatra.
Sinatra going to be in trouble as well.
No.
And that means so much movement on the payload is going to happen before San Francisco can collect his 6 again. Titans save a lot of ultimates as well. Shock is right. They're going to come back. They're going to hit you back twice as hard, and you have to be ready for it.
Well, it's just so big because a lot of times as a defending team, you want to defend right at this choke point that we see the payload going through right now. And it's an interesting stat, actually, that the Titans getting that first elimination rate a lot lower here in the playoffs than it was in the regular season. So they are not winning these fights as decisively. Hawksall knocked down, but he gets the Zarya bubble. Should be safe. That Shatter doesn't gain the Shock a lot, except they do stop the payload. Now the grab, though, coming in. Maybe they can make something happen with that. John though, pops that Diva self-destruct to keep the Shock at bay. Bumper drops his owner. Shatter doesn't knock anyone down with it, though. The Shock and the Titans reverse positions, but Sominsu onto Super again. They use the Lucio shield, the sound barrier, to get aggressive, and now they're using the grab as well, and it's going to be the Titans crushing another fight. So as good as the Shock looked on their attack, the Titans are definitely equalizing right now.
They are, Doa, and it was going to be really hard for the Shock to win that fight because they were at such an ultimate disadvantage because they used everything at the end of A. If they had saved some of their abilities, I think they could have held potentially right there, but they're going to lose the best opportunity to hold on this map, which is at the end of B, furthest from the spawn room.
I mean, they've lost both their best defensive opportunities, once at the beginning of B and the end of B. Those are the two best places to defend on this map. Now 4:36 on the clock for the Titans as they're pushing through C. That is a mountain of time.
Yeah, you do kind of hate to see that as a coach, actually. You really want them to poke and try and build up ults until you hit the end of B. not go in like that most of the time. However, Titans, they have been reset a little bit, and they are just going to be a poke war right now. Shock, again, Sinatra with another Graviton Surge. 100 energy for him. He's dealing double damage right now.
They need to make this Graviton Surge from Sinatra, this ultimate, worthwhile, though, because they need it to buy them time to get more ultimates online here. The Titans taking a little bit slow to cross the finish line. They know they don't have a lot of ultimates themselves to fight this with. Just trying to poke, trying to build it up themselves here. Ooh, the grab comes in, though. Where did that one end up? That was interesting. Sominsu's grab not really getting anything done for the Titans.
Yeah, I didn't see where that grab went, actually.
Might have been fat-fingered.
It was eaten right there.
Yeah, usually there's an indicator if it gets eaten, though. Janu, all right, grab comes in for Shock now. It's going to be the Transcendence from Twilight to keep his team healed. Earth Shatter used. Now Titans roll in with the Sound Barrier. Shock taking defensive positions here, but they've still got all 6 members. Shoyobin nearly popped out of his Diva Mech. Oh, that was so close, but he stayed in there just barely. Now Violet under pressure as well. He is down. Hawksaw with a big pick, and Slime rolling in. The Titans will not be denied. They are rocking this fight right now, and I think they are going to get a very good time on their attack as well. They will just under what the Shock accomplished, but still over 3 minutes, which is great.
Yeah, about 10 seconds less, but the Titans get it done. Hard hold there for the Shock after I think they broke their economy on that late A defense. However, we're going to go in a 311 to 320. Slight advantage for the Shock as we head into overtime.
So a quick break, and when we come back, we'll see who takes it.
Geographic thing, anyway, that made a rival.
Welcome back to extra innings here on Kings Row between the Vancouver Titans and San Francisco Shock. Both teams completing their attack run, and that means we go again. But this time, each team only gets access to the time that they had left from the first round. That's going to be 3:11 for the Vancouver Titans, 3:20 for the Shock. And now Sominsu's Graviton Surge, his ultimate, kind of mysteriously vanished in the last round. What happened to that?
Oh no!
Whoa! Okay, so that is not how you want to thread the needle. If you're Widowmaker, you want to thread the needle, through a little thing with your sniper rifle, but no. You don't want to throw your grab down there.
I think he found like the 3 pixels where that could actually happen. That's just really unlucky.
Bad luck, bro. That was rough. So the Vancouver Titans now back in real time here on the attack first. They had a little bit less time in their time bank, so they will go first, and we'll see what they can get done. San Francisco Shock gave up point A pretty quick after they lost Rascal the first time.
Yeah, see, the statue game here. Cover is so important. in this game because it allows you time to get healed up. You're not taking damage into your Reinhardt barriers.
Yeah.
So we see Summon Su trying to dip behind right now, and he
Again!
actually does take out Rascal. Rascal playing too aggressively right there.
I mean, that is the second time in a row that's happened to them now on Point A, and Shock once again backing up. This is looking very similar to the first attack from the Titans on their last round.
Yeah, the rest of the Shock were going backwards, however. They are going to get the
That's
Shatter,
different.
so they still might be able to get this done. Can they take out Slime? They can.
Yeah. That is a bit of a different story. Now Super comes back in with the big Earth Shatter. They've got Violet's Transcendence to set up the rest of these kills, and they will get a little bit of defensive stability on A that they didn't have before.
Yeah, it does buy you time. However, Summon Su with that Graviton Surge, the primary way of healing your team back up when you're all clustered together is the Transcendence, which they had to use just to save that fight.
Yeah.
So it might be a situation where they win that fight, but they're going to have a tough time in this next one.
That's right. Come back in with some ultimates. Graviton Surge used. They're going to try to use it to take down Rascal again. He gets charged, but Bumper knocked out of it. Rascal down anyway. Twilight finds the pick. Yet again, going to pop his own Transcendence for the healing. Whoa! Big shatter from Bumper on the flank of that fight once more. And now the Titans absolutely going to get that payload moving.
Yeah, Haksal, he just can't fight right now against this Zarya in the 1v1, so he is going to have to back off right there. They really wanted to kill Sinatra because every time you deal damage to a Zarya barrier, you increase the amount of energy the Zarya has, which increases her damage up to 100% additional.
Right.
So if you can stop that, if you can kill her, reset her energy, that becomes a huge point of lowering the damage output of the enemy team.
It's big. Definitely big. Vancouver Titans with the payload moving. A different story than we saw in the last round. Now you're seeing Shock getting a chance to defend here at this choke. This is where you want to defend first if you're the, defender.
That's right, because you have the cover and you force them to walk through.
Yep.
Janu looking for an opportunity to throw out that mecha suit for his self-destruct. Here it comes.
All right, yep, engage with the self-destruct. Doesn't get any kills, but it does create room for the Titans to walk in. They've got the Graviton Surge down as well, and they've got a kill on the Moth. They avoid the self-destruct from the other side. Now they use the sound barrier to keep themselves safe in Sinatra's grab. Super, Dire Straits now just dead, and Choyobin soon to follow as well. The rest of the team drops. And Vancouver Titans handled that really, really well. Great engage with Janu's self-destruct.
And now we've only got 15 seconds left, Doa, which means we're going to go to overtime. They must have a player on the payload, on that cart, at any possible moment. If they leave it, their round will end. It makes it very difficult for this team to continue attacking because they have to stay on the objective. Makes it very readable for the other team, knowing where the enemy players are going to be.
Can't let that overtime bar at the top of the screen drop. If it does, your round is over. Super kind of playing that corner like we see him do a lot of times. All they need to do is just knock the Titans off a little bit. That was a shatter. Hit Moth, but that's about it. Moth down Violet. In trouble too, but they lose Super first. San Francisco Shock in big trouble here. The Titans, as long as they keep someone on this payload, they can keep pushing it. I mean, there's no limit, really.
Yeah, Bumper has been massive with the shatters today.
Oh, man. This is going to be point B.
Yeah, it is going to be point B. And every time Bumper hits one of these shatters, it seems like a last-second thing. He's flanking around, hitting the Earth Shatter, stunning members of the Shock. He finds somebody, Moth that time, who's low enough to the ground on the Lucio in order to catch him and stun him. And that has been the story because really the Titans only had the Shatter to work with right now. But now they've got a lot more when it comes to those ults.
This is looking like it's going to be a crazy overtime push right now. They're going to use the grab right away. You do not see teams pushing this far in overtime very often. Sinatra gets a kill into Twilight. Shock looking to stop it right here. We'll see if they can. Johnny with the self-destruct gets his mech back again. Bumper, low health. Choyobin with the self-destruct. They got to keep somebody on the payload right now, but it's going to be tough. Shock getting the kills they need to end the push from the Titans right here, right now. Yeah, that's where it's going to end. So a great push for the Titans. They don't get it all the way, but hey, man, in overtime, with the amount of time that they had on the time bank to start with, you're going to be really happy with that if you're Vancouver.
Yeah, you will, and become the Shatter Wars have, Doa, because if you look at that, again, the Shatter sets it up. Graviton Surge comes in, pins up Super, but Super gets a Shatter onto Twilight and Slime, the supports, who have their ultimates available, so they can't provide the healing. Those just a couple seconds there of time is all a professional team needs to focus down one target. The fact that they eliminate Twilight early is absolutely massive, and it stuffs the push of the Titans.
Yep.
But that's a very good push.
Oh yeah,
Very good.
I think you can't be, if you're the coaches for the Titans right now, you're pretty happy with that. I mean, that box on the ground right now, that is the distance that the Shock have to push on their round in order to win the map. If they do not, they will lose the map, and the Titans will have tied up this 1-4 series. We say 1-4 instead of like best of 7 or something like that because there's a possibility for tie maps. So it's really a 1-4 rather than a best of a certain specific number.
Correct.
We could go to like 10 maps, man. So you never know.
Yeah, there is no possibility of a draw on this map currently because the payload did move beyond the first point. If neither teams were able to capture this first point, that would be a draw scenario potentially.
Could see it later on down the road on others, but this one is going to be a win or lose for one of these teams.
We're going to head in right now. So, San Francisco Shock coming out of the gates, trying to beat the Vancouver Titans on their best map so far in the 2019 Overwatch League season.
That would be crazy. That'd be just another feather in the cap for Shock in their monumental stage 2 that they've had over the last month or two. Pushing forward now, they've got the Titans split up a little bit, trying to regroup here. Hawksall dropped a bit low. We'll see if the Titans can re-engage. Bumper running back in. They do have the Shock a little bit battered here. No more Zarya Shield available for Super. So the Titans have the advantage for the moment. They can get a couple seconds here as long as nobody gets picked.
See Summon Sue getting a armor pack right there, so resources used. That means Shock are going to push forward just a little bit.
All right, a little health back for Sinatra.
Sinatra needs some help.
That's a dangerous
Yeah,
moment.
they had to use the trance.
Yep, that's rough. You don't want to use that early on. And now the grab comes in as soon as the Transcendence is over. So Minsu walking in. Oh, and Pumper just swinging away. That's 3 with 1 swing with that Reinhardt. Man, it's like T-ball in this game right now for the Titans.
And that really hurts, right? The Shock did not want to use the Transcendence there from the Zenyatta to heal up.
Yeah.
But they had to because they needed to keep Sinatra up. However, that said, they are going to have a sound barrier very soon from Moth on the Lucio, as well as a Graviton Surge of their own. But Bumper's been clutch with the Shatters so far.
Yeah, he sure has. And he's got another one loaded, ready to go, trying to walk past that shield. Super's really low. It's a threat that they put on the Shock. Bumper wisely backing away, showing a bit more of a measured pace than we've seen in the past. Tries to counter Shatter through the Graviton Surge. John sends in to self-destruct to counter that as well. Hawksall down. Oh, and he's going to get taken out completely. Good start for the Shock here on this fight, and they can keep pushing. The Titans giving some ground down with Bumper down. That's definitely going to be the Shock getting the payload moving, but a lot of time has been used up off this time bank.
I mean, more than a minute and a half has been taken off the clock already by the Titans. And considering that the longer the Shock are in the overtime, they effectively have to win every single fight while in overtime, because if they lose and get pushed off the payload, the game will end. The map will end, and we'll be headed on to a San Francisco Shock map pick. That said, though, still got a minute left. San Francisco Shock can maybe afford to lose one fight. It depends on where the Titans defend. This is a decision they need to make based on their ult economy. Do they want to push in now, or do they want to wait until overtime? Looks like they're going to start poking.
Dude, you've got the grab. You've got the grab. You push in right now. Choi been trying to counter with the self-destruct, but he doesn't get anything done with that. Nice sound barrier at the nick of time for the Vancouver Titans to give them the shields to stay alive. Now Shock trying to fight it out. Oh, all the books in the library. No, it's just not fair. San Francisco, though, they're the ones who come out on top of this fight, and they will keep this payload moving.
Oh, boy. And you might not like that one if you're the Titans.
No, I don't think so.
If you had won that, then you could snowball an ultimate advantage into a quicker win. But now you're in a bit of trouble. I mean, you can see Sinatra right here trying to build up that grab again. He's going to come back to the payload. They're almost certainly going to take point B right now. Twilight does have a trance. Vancouver Titans can use that trance to play aggressively. They'll use the AoE healing to move in.
Sominsu will also have the quicker Graviton Surge, most likely, but that's a nice shatter from Cooper. Can they capitalize on it, though? No kills just yet. Twilight has his Transcendence. Decoys. Bumper drops his shatter as well. Violet gets stunned. They can't quite finish him off. Sominsu lobs that grab in from half court. Can they possibly get kills? They can! And it looks like the Titans are going to tie up this series. It's their best map for a reason. That's a win for the Vancouver Titans here on Kings Row.
Super smart grab, Doa.
Yeah.
They get people off the payload. It's basically only a D.Va and a Zarya on the cart. They focus them instead.
Yep.
And that leads to a map win here from the Titans.
I mean, what a great series so far. Their Stage 1 finals, same way. Shock won the first map. Vancouver won the second map. Same thing today. Let's see if they keep trading maps after the break. Don't go anywhere, guys. A lot more Overwatch League coming at you right after this.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best. It's a rematch of the Stage 1 Finals, and just like the first edition of this one, it is definitely living up to the hype. It's all tied up at 1-1 at the half. What's up, everybody? Malik here. We got Zoe, Brent, and Josh here at the desk for halftime. Guys, a tight contest so far, and this time it was the San Francisco Shock who struck first.
Yeah, a phenomenal start from San Francisco Shock. They're winning the first two rounds just pretty handedly.
Yeah.
Again, I expected this coming in. I expected them to be the stronger team. Just going to throw it out there. You know, I did predict them to win this.
They're tied up at the half, Brent. You can't get too ahead of yourself. But certainly the opening map did look very dominant from them. They looked incredibly strong coming into that one. They looked a little timid, actually, at the start of Lijiang. But as it got forwards, they started picking the pace up.
Well, let's go ahead and look at some of the highlights from Lijiang Tower, because this is very surgical by the San Francisco Shock. Every little mistake that Vancouver made, the Shock were there to exploit it.
Yeah, it was the neutral game, if you will. The fights where they weren't really using the ultimates, where I felt that they had a bit of an edge actually coming in against the Titans, which is surprising because
I actually think at the very beginning it was more of abusing Bumper's positioning. They took him out of the equation very early on in almost every team fight, and that's really what won them most of those team fights.
Yes, I think Moth has been doing a fantastic job throughout this series so far. I've got a little package later on to run you through some of that stuff. But over the course of both of these two maps, Moth has really been a star player. to be able to isolate Bumper and take him out of the equation. And we are more used to Bumper just having his way in these games, but he was really shut down a lot, both in the Stage 1 finals and in this opening map on Lijiang.
What do you guys think of the different bubble styles that we're seeing from these two teams? Well, that being Sinatra providing the bubble to Super kind of after the fact as he's getting low on health, whereas on the Vancouver side, giving the bubble to Bumper.
I think Sinatra, the one change that I've seen him make actually is he's being a little bit more reserved and conservative with his bubbles, because they're trying to keep an eye on Bumper, where he's essentially, the Graviton Surge is used, Bumper's charging him out of the Graviton Surge back to the rest of his team. Sleepy nicknamed it the other day the kidnapping strategy, where you just take one enemy and then you just send them right back to the back line of your team, focus them down that way. Sinatra, I've noticed, is saving his bubbles for a lot of these moments when he knows the Graviton Surge is online for the enemy team, so it's pretty heads up.
Yeah, I think as I picked the Vancouver Titans coming into this as well, I wanted to give them, even though they're tied up in the half, I wanted to give them some tips going into the second half of what they can do to make sure this win is absolutely dominant.
Make it happen.
So I've got an Insights powered by Intel where I really want to focus on Moth and the impact that he has been having, because we've got a battle of superstars all across the board here, but these, in my opinion, are the two best Lucios we've got going on, and Moth has been outshining. This was the opening kill on the second map of King's Row, where Shock set this ridiculous time, another boop onto Bumper. Now Bumper did make a ridiculous play here and actually came back to win, but Moth has been having phenomenal impact. Check out this third highlight as well. It's unreal. He comes in and boops Janu away just as he goes for this self-destruct, and Janu's self-destruct goes flying into the backlines. Moth has been all over them, and this is quite easily counterable by Vancouver. If they know it's happening, a Discord orb onto Moth, make sure that he takes extra damage, and then continue to poke and pressure him, and he'll be taken out of the fight. And it seems like a lot of how San Francisco are playing is around that kind of setup. Didn't quite work for them on King's Row, but it was an insanely close map that could have gone either way, and I think that's an adjustment Titans can make coming into the second half.
He makes it look so easy with that precise timing.
Oh,
yeah. It is crazy. All right, well, guys, as we all know, today is Mother's Day. Hi, Mom. I love you, Mom. And there is nothing in the world stronger than the love of a mom. After all, it takes a special kind of parent to show a level of support that allows our pros to play video games for a living. So let's take a moment and honor the real heroes of the Overwatch League, the moms.
Hi, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Hi, Mom. To me, my mom is my #1 fan.
I'd like to thank you for all you do for me in my Overwatch career.
Just a huge, huge thank you for everything that you've done for me.
My favorite dish that my mom makes is mac and cheese and hot dogs. She doesn't understand much about Overwatch, but she does text me and say like, "Oh, I'm starting to get it."
I think her proudest moment was probably the first time I ever went up on that stage.
And she's also the person that pushes me to keep doing like what I love to do.
Knowing that our boys are like the best of the best out there is just crazy.
Corey's about 10 years old. I said to him, "So what do you want to be when you grow up, you know?" And he looked at me and he goes, "Mom, when I grow up," he goes, "I'm going to play video games and I'm going to make lots of money." And I remember at the time I was like, okay.
When Hydration told me that he was going to be a professional gamer, I looked at him and said, there is no such thing. You better apply for colleges. There is no such professional player. No. I start accepting it when I start reading about it, and then I discovered that there was this whole other world out there.
We just got back from the Dallas homestand weekend to be in the stands and to hear the crowd cheering his name. It was an emotion I think I'll never forget.
That kid, he can set his goals. He's going to work hard towards something. And now that he's there, I'm sure he'll keep that up.
I did get a lot of criticism, you know, from family, from friends. Yeah. Why do you let him play this video game so much? But I don't think they saw what we saw.
You have to change your ideal of what your child's path is.
And I love that they play in arenas and then so many people come to watch them. It's just like sports.
So nice to be around like other women that understand. This is truly the most amazing Mother's Day gift.
That's my best Mother's Day also. Yeah. To be here, to spend time with him, and also to be in this place where it's his passion.
I'm kind of looking forward to tomorrow sitting with him and having him narrate everything that's going on.
Coming out here and spending the day with him is amazing.
You've been like a great help to my life, and I'm super thankful for you.
I mean, I built my confidence because you allowed me to really pursue what I loved.
Thank you for supporting me throughout this time on my journey in the Overwatch League.
Thank you so much for constantly pushing me to be myself and do everything that I possibly can.
I'm just really, really happy that that you're proud of me and that just everything you've done for me. Thank you. I love you so much.
You know, I always say there is no privilege greater than the love of a great mother. There's just none. It's that I'm fighting tears, guys.
I thought I'm okay if I watch it for the second time, but here I am crying again. But got me. Thanks, production.
You got us good.
It is.
It really
That's
is.
wonderful.
It really is. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms we have in here, all the moms at home watching. Happy Mother's Day to you. But guys, there is more Overwatch to be played. So before we get into it, so you said that you would potentially be flip-flopping throughout the match. Are you going to stick with your pick of the San Francisco Shock? Or are you thinking about flip-flopping to the Titans?
Excuse me? I would never flip-flop. And I'm absolutely sticking to my pick because honestly, I couldn't be more impressed with what I've seen from the Shock. They played the Titans so very close on their best map, King's Row, which was the Vancouver's pick. So imagine what they can do if they're actually picking. And honestly, like the focus fire from Shock was on point. I thought they had amazing ults. I was so impressed with Super Shatters. I'm not going to flip-flop. I'm going to stick with the Shock here.
All right, so he's sticking with the Shock. Well, guys, it is all tied up 1-1. We're going to see who can pull forward in this matchup when we come back after the break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, man, what's up?
You need anything for today?
Nah, man, I think I'm set.
Big day today, man?
Yeah, huge. Let's play some Overwatch.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League, everybody. We are all tied up right now between the San Francisco Shock and the Vancouver Titans. Really, I mean, in terms of map score, this one's starting the same way as the last one did. Stage 1 finals, Shock won the first map. Vancouver wins the second map. Stage 2 finals, Shock wins the first map. Vancouver wins the second map. But you and I were talking in the break, and you're saying there's definitely some differences between those two matches. Though.
I mean, I think Lee Jong was very San Francisco favored, and that last map came down to one or two team fights, really. So it was really close on a map that typically the Titans are dominating. Now, they are still 9-0 on Kings Row, undefeated on that map.
Right.
And interestingly, it's going to be Paris. I am very surprised because Anubis was won in our last stage finals by the San Francisco Shock, and the Titans have looked rather shaky on that map. So heading over to Paris right now, I think, is an unusual pick, and it may indicate a special strategy on the side of the Shock.
I mean, do you think it's the fact that the Titans have played the most on Temple of Anubis as far as our assault maps go as well? Might be a situation where they're just worried that even though they have the most losses on that map, they also have 6 wins. So there's a lot of comfort there too.
Yeah, and I think also, at least for the Shock, even though you may look at the Titans and say, okay, they're weak on Anubis, you can look at the Shock and say, this team is very strong on Paris.
Yeah.
So instead of playing to their opponent's weaknesses, they're playing to their own strengths. Shock do have the 2 fastest completions on Paris so far of any team. They are undefeated on this map, but so are the Titans.
I like it. Shock on the attack first. See if they can set another record time here. Pushing forward, the Titans not giving up that high ground just yet, but as Super climbs the stairs here, they do need to give a little bit of ground. Backing up now. And it's a lot of damage onto Bumper here. Bumper, who is on the Winston this time. So it is a Winston 3-3 versus the Reinhardt 3-3. A little bit different in terms of the triple tank, triple support lineups from each of these teams.
Yeah, but now you see the Shocker actually on the point, and this is where it gets a little bit dicey if you are the Winston trying to retake, because you don't have that big barrier that the Reinhardt has. You just have that bubble, and it's on a cooldown, and they've got 5 seconds before they can use it again.
I mean, Bumper just really trying to build up to his ultimate. That Primal Rage, if he can get it, there's a chance. Ooh, Choyabin D-Max, and they're going to throw in the grab as well. Bumper with a big pick onto that mech, though. It's going to be the Transcendence, so keeping people alive. And Bumper in that Primal Rage, but he's locked up. He's locked in the Graviton Surge coming out of the Shock now, and he has to back away. So that ultimate, more or less negated. Now Shock really going for it. Ooh, Bumper misses jump. That could be a close call here, but the Shock still forced away for the moment. They need only that 1 tick to take the point, though. Titans need to get aggressive, and Bumper low. Can they finish it off? Hoxall gets a kill on the Moth. That is big. And Super, I don't even know what that Shatter was supposed to do. Bumper in trouble either way, though he gets knocked off the edge. Titans getting the kills, though, and I think they're going to be able to hold.
Yeah, it's going to be a 5 versus 3 on the point right now, and that's a cleanup in this side room. So Titans doing tons of work right there.
What a
San Francisco Shock held to only 2 ticks, and they will not be setting a new record. 2 minutes taken off the clock. Extended engagement.
Yeah.
And as the dust settles right now, let's take a look. We are going to see Trances and Graviton Surges up soon for both teams. And San Francisco Shock, because they only need that 1 point, they can sort of just throw in this self-destruct and get the time they need on the point. So we'll keep an eye on how Choi Hyobin uses this. Sinatra going to be chunked out early.
You know, a big part of this is that Bumper swapped over to the Reinhardt, too, so he actually is going to have the shield to hold against that self-destruct. They're going to use the Graviton Surge from the Zarya. That self-destruct used a bit earlier than we expected from Choyabin. Now Titans on the outside looking in. They're going to get caught up in the grab from Shock, but they've got the Zenyatta healing to keep their lives up and healthy. Super in a little bit of trouble here. He's low. Oh, there's a Shatter. Super and Rascal down. Shock starting to collapse a little bit on this attack. They are going to be down to about a minute left, probably under a minute on their next attack. Things looking a little bit dire, frankly, for the Shock right now.
Yeah, they're going to have 1 good attack left, and they have to play into the sound barrier. Yeah, that self-destruct might have gotten moved. It might have gotten booped backwards there from Choi Hyobin. I'm surprised he didn't save it just a little bit longer to clear out the point. And now Shock in real trouble on a map that they were confident in, that they picked here.
Yeah, I looked over at the players right now, and Super looking really worried on that Shock stage at the moment. Serious face on him, man. They know they need to get something done right now. Super knows he needs to get a good Earth Shatter. He's going to get a good one. 2 people knocked down, and they're going to chain that into kills. Super coming up clutch there. Oh, but they lose Moth. Can Shock stay in this one? I don't know, man. The Titans getting the kills they need anyway, and Shock have to disengage. There's Super, and now the exit kills are going to lead the Shock with almost no time to come back on this. Man, Super did his job, but the rest of the team just could not keep it up.
Yeah, and look at this stagger as well. So 17 seconds, but it's going to be a late spawn for Choi Hyobin on the Diva. And Moth has been playing very aggressively, as he often does. He'll go up to the front and try and make plays, but every time that happens, the Titans are there to shut him down. He has died first a lot in these engagements. They have to use Sound Barrier just to touch the point.
It's desperation, and Super down already. There's a Shatter just to seal the deal. Bumper zoning out Moth a bit there, and Shock They are not going to get this point. There is no way you can win this one. And that is a monumental hold for the Vancouver Titans on a map that Shock selected.
And Shock now have to hold the Titans below that 2-tick mark, because otherwise the Titans will go ahead and take the lead in the series.
It's going to need a Herculean effort from the Shock. We'll see if they can pull it off when we come back.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
San Francisco Shock full held on their attack on our assault map here in Monty. You know, we saw Moth kind of struggling a bit more than we're used to. He's been a great player so far on the Shock this stage, but that map not looking so hot for him right now.
I mean, the way Moth likes to play is very far forward. He likes to wall ride on the Lucio above the opponent and try and knock the front line into his own allies. But that positioning comes with its risks, and he has been punished in a lot of these fights. So something's got to change here for the San Francisco Shock. Now, they could still win this map, but it is going to be very difficult. They have to hold these Titans to below 94.7% on point A here for the next 4 minutes.
You know, a lot of people predicting the Shock to win today. I personally predicted the Vancouver Titans to take it 4-1 or 4-2, actually. And part of that is that people are saying the pressure is off of the Shock. They've already been through a stage finals and all that. I disagree. I think the pressure is on the Shock more than ever because there's more expectations upon them than there's ever been. Undefeated stage, didn't drop a map until the playoffs. You know, they did so well in the last year's playoffs. Now, people actually are expecting a lot from them, and I think that is even worse to deal with. But we'll see what they can do here.
All right, we'll be a multi-DPS comp. So Vancouver Titans, they're going to use a lot of damage dealers. Far up here, the rocket launcher.
Oh, Troy been knocked off the edge.
It's over.
It is over, man. What do? You got to fight the 6v5. Shock needs to make amazing picks, and they can't as Moth is down again. Hawksall making the big play to deliver his team the win here on Paris. And I know the fight's still going. I know you say, if you're a Shock fan, that there's still a chance, but on this map, unless a miracle happens here, it's going to end right here. Just not enough members from the Shock around. And that is map 3 in the books. The Titans take the lead.
And here's the thing. When you have a large time bank like that, the DPS will eventually take point A. They can chunk people off of the point, and so that's why they run that composition. It's not good for an extended match, but for a single point, it is great, and that is why.
Hey, Bumper Hanzo. It's legit. It's a real thing. It's a good thing. Gave Vancouver the win. When we come back, we'll see if Shock can tie it up.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Those super cool all-star skins available right now, man. I picked up the Lucio one.
Yeah,
I actually play support, so it's relevant to me.
And we're coming up on our All-Star Game 2, which is going to be starting on Wednesday. So very exciting times for us in addition to the skins.
That's right. Powered by Intel. Should be an awesome time. Talent Takedown. You and I are on the same team. We're going to wreck everybody.
I hope so, Noah. I hope so.
We will destroy them. We will make them... Well, let's end it there. Anyway.
We'll save the trash talk for all.
We're going to win. That's true. All right.
But coming back into this one, that was an incredibly dominant map from the Titans, obviously. And we saw that same strategy yesterday where they come in and sort of slowly poke you off the point with the damage against the NYXL. If you only have that first point to take, it is kind of inevitable.
Or quickly knock you off the edge if you're Rascal on Farah.
I mean, that's something that they should have been expecting because they were running the Reinhardt 3-3. But it's very hard to be in that situation. And I think there's a lot of questions as to why did the Shock not pick Anubis, the assault map that they won in the last head-to-head meeting between these teams, and one of the Titans' worst maps. Instead, they tried to play to their strengths, and Titans say, hey, guess what? We're also undefeated on Paris. It was very one-sided. Both teams undefeated on Watchpoint Gibraltar so far. Titans with a lot less film, though. Only 2 maps instead of 4 for the Shock.
So it's a Shock map pick. They are down in this series. They will be attacking first. Here on our escort map, Watchpoint Gibraltar, you just push the payload. That's all you do. Just push the payload, and then you flip sides. And see who pushes it the farthest. So, Shock on the attack now. It's going to be the Reinhardt triple tank, triple support composition from both teams, as we often see these days. And they've got Super a little bit off on the side there. Dangerous times as the Zarya shields, those Zarya bubbles run out. But Vancouver Titans giving a bit of ground here.
Just as a note to our new viewers, the attack is generally favored because the payload itself gives healing to the attacking team.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Just a little bit, but it is a nice advantage considering that you are sort of forced to stand out in the open.
Yet another reason for my teammates to stay on the payload, but they never do. They never do. Huxall down. Good pick for Shock right off the bat. There goes Twilight as well. So it will be the Shock bouncing back from that quick loss on Paris to get a good push going here on Gibraltar. That's point A taken.
Yeah, they're just going to run through, so very fast point A, winning the only real fight that actually occurs. Now, high ground will be taken here by the San Francisco Shock. Few ults online already. Super, notably very far ahead of Bumper in the Earth Shatter charge.
Oh, I mean, he's got it. He's got his, and Bumper isn't even halfway there yet.
Yeah, this is looking good for the Shock, at least to move through the next fight, and then we'll see a fight at the end of point B, most likely.
Bumper just dropping down with the Zarya shield. That's going to get burned through quickly, though, and the Shock pushing away. Now the grab comes in. The Vancouver Titans need some kills out of this. Grab from the Shock side now as well, but they're going to use the Transcendence to stay alive. Violet did not need to use his Trance. Shatter comes in from Super. Oh, he's so low. Now they have to pop it to keep him alive. And Twilight down via the self-destruct from Choyobin. Supercharging to get a little bit better angle on the enemy team, and Vancouver Titans, even with that sound barrier, unlikely that they're going to be able to turn this fight around. They've paused the payload, but only just Bumper in serious trouble here. And yeah, he's going to drop too. So Shock looking really good so far on this map.
And you mentioned it, Doa, but the holding of the Trance was really the key aspect for the San Francisco Shock. The fact that they got hit by the Graviton and didn't use it got them some time. Huxall going to try and come in. Sled's going to take out Moth.
Okay, that was a very optimistic Graviton surge from the Titans, but they might be able to get some kills out of it. At least they're going to force the grab back out and the Shatter out of Shock here. Super gets 3. And look at this, the Titans buying a lot of time off of the time bank right now, making Shock use all their ultimates. So a lot of times you say, hey, that fight wasn't worth it, but I think in that situation it probably was.
I mean, they're going to come back and try and make a defense here on C. Titans up ahead. Huxall does have to fall off the map, though, because he got split spawned and didn't want to get stalled out there for his respawn. So there's going to be some free payload movement right now. Shock, though, continue to set a blistering pace through Gibraltar. This is where it might get hard, though. The next couple minutes are going to be a poke game right now to get ults up. If Titans are smart, they'll use this next Transcendence pretty aggressively because Sinatra's only a 50% charge.
Well, they've got that Transcendence now. We'll see how aggro they want to be. That's a lot of damage coming out of Sinatra, so when you commit, you really got to be ready.
I mean, are they going to go ahead? Yes, there's the self-destruct, making some space right there.
Yep. Super down. All right, they got the separation they needed onto the main tank. Huxall drops, though, so it's 1 for 1. But now with the DMEC on a Choyobin, this grab should be really successful. Yeah, they're going to win the fight because of it, but that's a big jewel out of the way for the Titans now. That said, they didn't need to use their 2 support ultimates, so they do have a way to weather the storm when Shock come back.
Yeah, they are going to go ahead and throw that out because Shock didn't have their support ultimates available to them. And now they can just cycle it against the enemy support ultimates. They'll get theirs back up in time. So let's see what the Titans do right now. They will be able to hold strong with the Trance and the Sound Barrier against the Graviton.
Yep. All right. Just waiting for that Graviton Surge, that Zarya ultimate to come out from the Shock. Rallies first. Twilight with that early Transcendence. Ooh, boy. I don't know. There's the grab. Sominsu down early. And that did not go how the Titans were planning.
Well, they got aggressive because they thought the DMEC was coming through.
I guess
but the problem is that the self-destruct was used by Choi Hyobin to remech, and it zoned out everybody when the grab was dropped. So that's actually a pretty big mistake there from the Titans, and now they have those support ultimates. This could be dominating from the Shock.
Yep. Here we go. Titans with one last-ditch effort to try to defend here. They've got the sound barrier on the Shock side, though, to contend with. And now Bumper goes down. The grab comes in. It's going to need to be huge. They kill Rascal. They get Sominsu, though, on the other side. And Shock still looking good for this push. That said, the respawns are coming fast.
Oh,
and with the kill on the Sinatra, that might open the door for the Titans to bring it back as the respawns come in. It's going to be Bumper, Huxall, and Twilight trying to hold this one. Sominsu back just in time as well. And so as close as the Shock were, at least the Titans are going to get more time here. That Shatter not connecting with anybody on the Titans side, and the Titans are actually going to hold here at the end of C.
Oh yeah, this is huge in terms of stabilization
Yeah.
for the Titans as well. Shock might have been able to push through had they had a support ultimate, but that's not what they had at the end. Sinatra going to be returning with the Graviton Surge. This is the big opportunity. Shock may not get a better chance to close out this map than this one right now.
They've got to as well. Like you said, if this fight does not go their way,
they're going to have Transit self-destruct and the grab. So they got to charge up Sinatra first. They're taking a lot of damage as they approach. Not a lot of cover right now. Sinatra needs to be careful.
Now the Titans know they've only got a small window to try to be aggressive here. Rally coming out. Bumper in a lot of trouble. He might go down very, very soon. There's the grab. Twilight, 95%. He doesn't have his Transcendence. Oh, he gets it just in time to keep his team alive. That was crucial from Twilight. Violet using his now. As the Titans don't really have a lot of way contested. Oh, Bumper flies through the air. Doesn't really get the shatter he was looking for. And the Shock in a great place to end this one. I think they're going to be able to finish the map right here, right now. Janu self-destruct. No connecting with that one. And as the respawns are dealt with, the Shock looks like they will get their attack done here on Gibraltar. They had to work for it, but they got it.
Yeah, that was lucky, I think, for the Shock. They had to take it on that push.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they could have fallen very far behind in ult economy. So Shock make it through the map with 1:38. Now Titans must do the same.
Yeah, 1:38, not a bad time bank to end things with. The Vancouver Titans, though, we'll see what they can do on their attack when we come back.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
The San Francisco Shock have completed their attack on Watchpoint Gibraltar. 3 points for them, 1 minute and 38 seconds in the time bank, but now the Vancouver Titans get their turn. And Shock, we'll see what they can do on defense here.
It's been a pretty big difference, I think, in game plan that we see this match from the Titans. Overall, they're playing a little bit more passively, and they're waiting for San Francisco Shock, players like Moth that we discussed earlier, to take a pretty aggressive position and then punishing them for it.
Yeah.
So Shock here. That's a good attack round, though. They really only got held up at the end. 2 clean points through A and B.
It can be really difficult to finish Watchpoint Gibraltar as the attacker a lot of times.
Yeah.
Point C is brutal a lot of times. So finishing with 1:38 might not seem like a lot, rather, but on this map, it's actually a pretty good time bank.
Yeah, it definitely is. So both teams, like we saw in Paris, you know, somebody's got to lose. Both these teams have been undefeated so far on Watchpoint Gibraltar. 4-0 for the Shock, 2-0 for the Titans.
That's right. And now the Titans will attack. Reinhardt, triple tank, triple support will be the compositions again.
Not a big surprise right now. We might see some other stuff if we go into time bank, but we'll just have to wait and see on that one.
Oh, you never know. Wow, Sominsu getting really aggressive here. Right off the bat.
Yeah, actually,
get the damage in.
At the end of that last round, there was only a 9 damage difference between Sinatra and Sominsu. Each of them was over 10,000 damage.
Well, definitely 2 of the best Zaryas we have here in the Overwatch League, and a long flank coming in from the Titans. They're going to drop down like Batman from above. Coming in from behind onto the San Francisco Shock. Shock on the defensive here. Oh, but they get Bumper. Bumper again finds himself just a bit too far forward in the conflict, and it's going to pay the price, so the Titans have to back off of that one. They used a lot of time setting up that attack, too.
Yeah, and this is where it can get dicey, because Bumper is... Yeah. You can see the Shock are playing aggressively because there aren't any more of the Titans there. So Bumper split off from his team on the respawn room.
What do you do? I mean, if you're Bumper, okay, gets the Zarya shield, and this could end up poorly for the Shock if they start losing people. Oh, but they get the kill on Twilight anyway. Great turnaround for the Shock. I was worried they were going to get pinched a bit, but no, they were ready.
In our semifinal yesterday, San Francisco Shock spent a lot of time spawn camping here at the start of the map, the Hangzhou Spark, in their clean sweep of the Chinese team. This time they want to play it again. That was a really good call from the Shock. Yeah. They knew that Bumper was playing a relatively low mobility hero like Reinhardt. He wasn't going to use his charge to get back to his team, so they just punish him.
And this is their map choice too, remember. This is a map that they feel really comfortable they can tie things up on. Let's see if they survive the Graviton Surge. They do. The Zarya ultimate from Solmin Su, not doing a whole lot. Can the Titans maybe turn things around with
stun
the Shatter here?
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, stun on a bumper, but he stays alive for the moment here.
Yeah, did get his armor pack.
Grab coming in for them now. Solmin Su in a lot of trouble. Great Shatter, greater counter Shatter from Bumper. Keeps his team alive. It was dangerous there for the Zarya. For the moment, self-destruct from Janu, not getting anything. Slime now with the later sound barrier for the Titans. They're going to have those shields longer, and they're going to chain that into a kill onto Super. So maybe the fight finally swinging the way of the Titans. But man, so much time has already been used off the time bank by the Shock.
Yeah, we don't talk about this a lot, but one of the best aspects of the Vancouver Titans is that they can consistently get later support ults into fights than their opponents. Slime and Twilight will hold on to those ults, so it's a great disengage by the team. But if the enemy team uses that support ultimate first, the shields from the Lucio barrier will fade away, and then they can re-engage with the advantage. This time we're going to take a look at the counter Shatter here from Bumper.
There's one.
And that just, I mean, hitting Sinatra with that is absolutely massive because it cuts off the damage.
Oh, they've already got the kill on the Super here, so it looks like this defense for the Shock at the end of point A, nothing doing. Easy point A take for the Titans. They're up to 334 in the time bank going into B.
I mean, when we're in this triple support, triple tank meta, the advantage ebbs and flows. So in this, San Francisco used a lot of resources to pull a lot of time off of point A. That means Titans, you know, there's not a lot of ults on the Shock side, and they're going to have an easier time or an advantage here at the start of B.
So the Shock looking to drop down from on high in this defense. The Titans a lot of ultimates to use, though. Definitely the edge there. Sinatra's grab might be the difference maker. Bumper knocked down, though, by the Shatter from Super. Really, really big, and that chains into a kill onto Bumper. Violet uses his Transcendence, but I don't think Shock even needed it, man. Titan's already on the exit there.
Yeah, question is whether... Nope, they're not going to use the Graviton on the chase down.
No,
Shock
don't need that.
does like to use Gravitons to clean up fights a lot of the time. That is a hallmark of Sinatra's style of Zarya play, but they're not going to dedicate it right there. Titans also standing strong as soon as they lose that fight, and really it's a great Shatter because Shock should not have had that opportunity at the start of that fight, and they win it pretty clean. Right. Titans, however, coming back with the Trance. They hold on to it against this Graviton.
Should get their own Graviton pretty soon here, too. Sinatra, it's on him now for the Shock to try to make something happen. Ooh, Solmin Su really low, though. They're going to jump in there with the grab. They're going to get the kill on the Zarya right away. And the Titans in big trouble here. But that said, they turn it around. Oh, Bumper, he got such a good Shatter, but he couldn't stay alive. And the Shock are still going to win that fight anyway.
That was such good positioning from the Shock. So Sinatra falls down and goes aggressive, looking for the chance to use the Graviton. But Violet's on the catwalk on the high ground. And because there is no Reinhardt caught in the Graviton Surge, Violet has perfect line of sight in order to kill Solmin Su, the Zarya, cut off that damage, cut off the opportunity to counter grab. That was a great play from Violet.
Absolutely. I mean, remember, the Titans said that one of the players they were worried about coming into this match was Violet, and no surprise there. They're going to try to engage with the sound barrier, jumping onto Super, just a really aggressive move to kill that main tank on the Shock side, and now finally, the Titans are going to get some distance here on the payload.
Yeah, that's the fight that they're going to be able to push through, but still, look at the time that's been taken off the clock.
Again.
And keep in mind, the Shock are going to have an opportunity here to come back and defend again. But Titans hold on to the Graviton Surge. They've got a lot of ults, nearly 6 coming into this next fight. Shock will have 5 coming in.
It's going to be a 5v6 potentially too, because Twilight is not there. He's still coming back from spawn. Super drops early again, though. It's been these early kills on Super that have delivered it, and a great Shatter onto Shock as well. So the Titans, despite being a bit short-handed there, still win the fight easily.
Yeah, and that's a huge problem for the Shock. Because of the ults they invested, they knew that they were going to have a player advantage. But Titans knew they were going to drop in. They punished them. Another excellent Shatter from Bumper, who has just been using his ults extremely well today.
I like during that fight, too, Twilight finally made it back from the old spawn room, immediately died. Now he's going back to the other one. It's been a rough couple minutes for Twilight, but the good news is that he's going to have his Transcendence for the Titans, and so that'll be another key ultimate available as they try to finish this round.
Yeah, and Shock, they've got to engage here with the self-destruct and the rally, because they've got to cycle it against their other ultimates right now.
Yep.
You see the same thing. Titans trying to take that edge with the self-destruct.
All right, stun on Choyabin. Twilight using that Transcendence just to keep his team up.
Rally up right now.
Here. Yeah, that's right. Rally ending now for the Shock as well.
All right, when's the self-destruct going to come in? They have a Transcendence for the Shock right now. Titans have nothing. They need to play aggressive now, the Shock.
Yeah, you got to get a kill on the Choyabin maybe or something like that. Oh, that's a nice shatter, though. Can they chain it? No, they can't. Choyabin had a self-destruct. That kept the Titans away. It kept them from getting any kills off of Bumper's Earth Shatter. Now Super drops a couple with his own Earth Shatter.
Nice
They're going to use the grab as well. And yeah, that is a fight you want if you're the San Francisco Shock. Only a minute remaining in the time bank, and the Titans starting to sweat a bit here.
I mean, that was a lot of investment from the Shock, though. Certainly much more than they wanted to spend. They had to use the self-destruct a little bit defensively.
Right.
I kind of disagree with Choi Hyobin waiting that long in order to push the self-destruct out. But this time, Shock, they're going to have that sound barrier in a rally again soon. But they got to be so careful with Titans already having the Graviton Surge online. Regardless, less time for the Titans at the bank.
Rally for the Titans. They're going to go in as well. Sound barrier for the Shock as they're caught up in the Graviton Surge. Super in big trouble, though. They get him. Sinatra and Super both down. No damage, no tanking available for the Shock. And that payload is going to move. And the best thing for the Vancouver Titans in this situation is that they still have a lot of ultimates available for that final push.
Yeah, and the self-destruct so critical, too, to zoning people off the payload at the end. Shock is going to have to engage with a self-destruct out of spawn.
I think so. They're just going to jump in there. Oh, Rascal down. He got separated. The shatter from Bumper. I don't know about that one, but Super. Oh, they can't keep him up as well. And at the last second, the Titans with a great chance here to push it across the finish line. Choyabin can't get back in the mech. And in OT, the Titans get it done. They are going to end up with a minute as we go into the time bank.
Yeah, the way it works here on these escort maps is if you finish in overtime, you get a minute on the clock, and an additional minute is added over to the side of the Shock. So they will have 2 minutes and 38 seconds to push. Titans only 60 seconds.
Right.
So still big advantage to the Shock right here. But considering as long as you stay on the payload, you can push it in perpetuity, there is an option always to finish the map again, as extraordinarily difficult as that can be.
Well, we saw the Titans do that on Kings Row as well. They had a long push in overtime here. So if they can get the same kind of thing going on Gibraltar, they could still win this map. But the edge right now, absolutely going over to San Francisco Shock. At the top of your screen, you can see they have 2 minutes and 38 seconds in the time bank. Only 1 minute for the Titans. The Titans will be attacking first because of it. The team with less time goes first in these extra inning scenarios. And what's it going to be for the Titans? Going to do a bit of scouting with Twilight on that Hanzo. But aside from that, probably your standard 3-3, you'd imagine.
Yeah, you would think that. The Hanzo just going to be there. He has an ability called Sonic Arrow, which he'll shoot it there just to take a look at the composition. It will detect which heroes the Shock are using behind a wall.
Right.
And so just to see if there's any surprises from the Shock, there won't be. So he'll probably switch right back to Zenyatta. So you can see right there the outlines of the heroes. They're going to... Wow, that is an aggressive play.
Oh, man, he's so lucky he got away. If he would have been demeched, that would have been a disastrous start for Shock's defense.
Yeah, they could have caught Sinatra there, too. That was
a
really risky. And not only, but that also bought them a lot of space. So really smart play from the Titans there, using their Lucio speed boost. Shock going to hide under the pass here and use that cover for defense.
Sun to Hawksaw. He's going to get the healing going by hitting people. Super and Choyabin down. Oh, that is not the scenario the Shock want to find themselves in right now. It's going to be a lot of distance. That's going to be most of point A, actually, taken by the Titans here.
You can see Hawksaw was making space for the rest of the Titans, just pushing players back, and they got caught. The San Francisco Shock split 3-3, and then the collapse on the flank does it. Shock may not have an opportunity to defend here at the end of A, considering Rascal just spawned.
I mean, they might not have a Graviton Surge at the end of A as well. Sinatra's still a ways away. Summon Sue a little bit closer here. We're into overtime, though. If the Titans are pushed off the payload, and that's a good shatter from Bumper to start things off, but no kills out of it. Super and Choyabin, though, a bit low. Grab comes in from Sominsu. There's Rascal going down to the charge from Bumper. It's a 6v5 as the Titans try to finish off point A. Now the grab comes in, but the sound barrier is there, but it doesn't matter. Shock finds the kills anyway. The push could end right now for the Titans. It is looking grim for Vancouver here in Time Bank right now. And the sound barrier just icing on the cake for the Shock. They are going to stop the payload right here. Great defense for San Francisco.
Yeah, massive Graviton surge there. Again, the synergy between Sinatra and Violet has been one of the best aspects of the Shock today. They come in, pull off the Graviton surge, and Violet is picking people off.
Right.
You can tell that the Shock's game plan is to move the Graviton away from Bumper, who has that shield, and for Violet to take a high ground position and pick off. They're targeting So-Min-Soo and some of the supports here.
Yep. And that's Zenyatta, like we talked about. You can do a lot of damage on that hero. And in this composition, in the triple tank, triple support comps, that Zenyatta, that support hero, oftentimes ends up being one of the higher damage heroes on your team. And when you got somebody as accurate as Violet is, that's a good situation to be in.
I mean, right now, Violet is outputting 20% of his team's damage, which is second only to Sinatra.
Yeah.
So that gives you some idea. Twilight just barely below Bumper, 18% to 19%. And of course, So-Min-Soo, the Zarya player, will be tops in damage.
I mean, when you look at both of these teams, you've got a collection of the best players on their rules in the Overwatch League right now. So, no doubt, Twilight putting out just as much damage almost.
Yeah,
but
it's interesting, though, because the Titans aren't really pressuring Violet. That's the thing, is Violet is getting a lot of free high ground angles, and that's something the Titans may want to look at, especially if they are going to lose this map. It's going to be very hard for them to win.
Yeah.
With so much more time in the bank for the Shock there, and especially how fast the Shock were able to take point A last time.
Well, keep in mind, the way it works, too, is that Shock only needs to push his payload as far as the Titans got it in their round just a moment ago. If they can push it that far, they will win the map. That's all the farther they need to go.
And we will see the Titans fall back immediately, not like the Shock, who tried to defend more forward on that first point and try and deal with it here. They're going to try and loop around and pick off somebody. They take over the cover, so that's a good advantage for the Shock right there.
Oh, Bumper, that's a better advantage, taking out the enemy main tank.
How much can they follow up on? Slime is
it's gonna be so
zipping
tough.
into the server room. The rest of the team is away. And looks like Slime does escape back to his team. So there is an opportunity here for a 5 versus 6 defense. Still hard for the Titans.
Unlikely
Bumper's back.
That the Titans are going to be able to do it. Yeah, without that Zarya, you're not going to get that defensive win here if you're the Titans. They tried, but losing Bumper so early hurt so much. That said, super move. Janu gets team back, and there goes Slime. So, again, the Shock just are not going to be denied here. Goodbye, Bumper. That's going to be the map. And the San Francisco Shock tie up this series.
And we've got a series on our hands. Shock roaring back after a very disappointing Paris. And they will take Watch Point Gibraltar.
Doesn't get much more exciting than this. 2-2. Shock versus Titans. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
All right, now this is my kind of match right now. Vancouver Titans, 2 points. San Francisco Shock, 2 points here in this first of 4 Stage 2 finals. The Shock losing 2 maps in a row, but not getting discouraged. Coming back, winning Watch Point Gibraltar, but now it's going to be the Titans pick again as we go into our second control map.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this is that we've seen now it is going to be Oasis for the Vancouver Titans map selection. And that means that the Titans are trying to play to the weaknesses of the San Francisco Shock. Now, this is the only map, this stage, that the Shock have lost, and they lost it in map 1 to the Shanghai Dragons in the quarterfinals.
Right.
But, and there is a big asterisk on this, the way they lost were the Shanghai Dragons were playing a lot of Pharah and Sombra, which is not something we're likely to see the Titans do. So unless they mimic that style, there may not be a lot of advantage here for the Titans.
And again, we're going to start things off on Gardens here. And this is a point that sometimes presents you with the opportunity to play some DPS heroes. I think we're going to still see the standard 3-3 from each of our teams, but it'll be interesting to see what the Titans can do here.
I'm just very skeptical about this pickup. Obviously, the Titans feel super confident on it, even though it's most likely to be another Reinhardt 3-3 mirror. But this is not the loss that the Shock faced is not the reason why they could lose on this map to the Titans in a 3-3.
Yeah, it might be a bit of a misread here from the Titans, but hey, they can win the map, they can win the map. We'll see what they can do.
I think their coaches know that. They must be confident in other ways.
I would imagine. I don't think you ever lose confidence if you're Titans. You haven't lost a match yet, ever, in Overwatch League. You're not worried now. Here we go. Shock brings the fight to the high ground. Someone drops down for his own safety. They're going to cede that high ground. Point unlocks in about 5 seconds here. Bumper gets some last-minute healing before they start fighting over this thing, King of the Hill style. Bumper really
so
low. Zarya shield out, and Slime the first to fall. All the resources used on the Bumper, and that's going to leave their supports exposed. Shock will take the point first.
Yeah, and they're just going to push them back as well. So very deliberate high ground push there by the San Francisco Shock. Bumper gets chunked out early. Yeah. And, you know, we've talked about this weakness that the Titans have had somewhat in the playoffs is that Bumper has been falling low or dying a lot because of how aggressively he plays. If you can play patiently around him, you can get a lot of advantages. Shock are going to take that advantage right there because even though he wasn't the first to fall, because he was so low, he had to back out, and that created a play onto Slime.
Well, Vancouver going to try to flip it around now. But the advantage certainly going to San Francisco here. They've got the ultimates. Hoxall taking so much damage that Transcendence has to come out early, and now Sinatra drops down with the grab. Easy decision on that ultimate. Bumper tries to go for the counter shatter. He knocks down 2, but Twilight already falls super, comes in with his own Reinhardt ultimate, and that's going to seal the deal. Shock winning that fight. They are already up to 50% out of the 100 they need to take the round.
I mean, Sinatra is probably the best Zarya, but he's definitely the best high ground Zarya in the league. Loves to take those aggressive positions and those angles. And because there was so much damage coming into the Titans, forced the early Transcendence to keep them up. That meant that Sinatra had the opportunity just to drop down and grab. No healing behind them. Shock with the easy win. But this is where it can turn, Doa. It's a self-destruct only. Shock need to buy time with the self-destruct to get some other ultimates back online and make sure Summon Suit doesn't get a good grab. They can use it as a counter grab tool. We'll see what Choi decides to do.
Either way, they're going to be in like one fight territory if they lose this to come back and reflip it and win the round. We'll see what happens. It's going to be the grab on the super here. Causes the sound barrier to come out. San Francisco with the self-destruct. Now Janu gets super with his. All right, the Titans putting themselves in a pretty good spot to flip this. Put Somensu down. Violet with another pick. Are you kidding me? How does he keep fighting these? And Janu eats Sinatra's Graviton Surge. That Diva absorbs the Zarya ultimate. That said, the Moth with a big knockoff onto Janu, and Bumper swinging away. He's got the Earth Shatter. He's got the charge onto the Lucio. Easy Elim onto Moth, and now as Violet falls, even with Bumper going down as well, they flip the point. They're getting control percent. It was messy, but the Titans have the point at the moment anyway.
I mean, you look at that and you really want that sound barrier back from Moth. There was no self-destruct coming in to really avoid. The self-destruct came in after the sound barrier had faded away, and that resulted in a nice pick for the Titans. So a little bit of miscommunication. The grab and the self-destruct used defensively simultaneously. You don't like to see that if you're a Shock fan.
Indeed. Super walking back in again. 87%, getting closer to the grab. We'll see what he can do. Turning it around, Bumper a bit low. They have to pop the Transcendence to stay alive. Now the self-destruct comes in for Choyabin. The Shock's still on the outside looking in, and that's Susan. Oh, that's a nice shatter from Super.
Can they protect Minsu?
I don't know, man. Bumper's got the shield up in time, but Minsu is so low, Minsu, right now. Stays alive. Choyabin, though. Oh, and Super gets him with the Fire Strike. Are you kidding me? Okay, you'll take it if you're San Francisco, and you'll also take Bumper with you. And now the Shock are ready to flip this one back. And they're going to do it at 91%. They have almost taken this round.
And
That's basically it.
And how aggressively do you play right now? Super is there with the Earth Shatter. They're just going to play on the point. Looks like Slime is still
you're not
there.
Gonna get it. That's it. That's their end of the round. Shock should be able to handle these respawns. Twilight going to delay it a bit. You know, that does give time for Janu to come back in again. Nice knock up on the Wrecking Ball. Swapping heroes there. Bumper gets a 3-man shatter. They lost Twilight. I don't know if they can turn this one around, though. It would take a miracle. The Titans to win the 5v6 with Soman Su down. That's not going to be enough damage. The Shaka basically guaranteed the round at this point. Janu a little bit low here. Bumper going back in again. The Titans not giving this one up without a fight, but there goes Bumper. The Shock just eventually cleaning out the respawn. Slime as well, and that'll be it. San Francisco Shock take the round. They're going to take the early lead here on Oasis, and I guess we got to say goodbye to our ABC audience, so goodbye. Enjoy your Meat Sports TV land. We'll see you next time on the Overwatch League. All right, well, hey guys, it's just you and us now. It's just you and us on our other broadcast platforms. There we go. Still on ESPN News, still on Twitch TV. And if you're in the arena, you're still with us in person, which in my opinion is the best place to watch the Overwatch League.
It is pretty safe.
That's right, definitely. So, the Shock taking round one here on Oasis. Titans trying to tie this series up, but I gotta say, the risky playstyle of the Titans works against pretty much everybody. But today, it's not working so well against Shock.
And this is the creme de la creme of the Overwatch League right now, and it
Sure
is playing out. Shock put themselves 1 point away from taking Oasis. They're going to try and take this high ground with a Reinhardt. Unusual, and they're going to drop down.
Yep.
Point is unlocked right now. They're trying to get that first control. Titans are going to challenge it.
We'll see what they can do. Hawksaw a little bit low here.
Sinatra very low, has to take cover.
Yeah, that is correct. Bumper using the opportunity to swing forward here a little bit. And it's a standoff on the point. Neither team wanting to give ground. Twilight and no doubt Violet on the other side looking for picks on that Zenyatta.
So low on that mech. They're going to have to back off behind cover again.
That's right.
Titans, though, can't take the aggressive angle just yet. Twilight already with the Transcendence, but Violet nearly there as well.
Indeed. We'll see who pops those ultimates first. It's kind of a game of chicken. It's Super down. Oh, the tank out of the way, and now Vancouver Titans, they get to fight that 6v5. They're trying to dedicate the grab to this, but Bumper there with the shield. I don't know, man. It does force out the Transcendence from the Vancouver side at least, but now with Rascal down, the Titans in a magnificent position. They have won the fight, and they did not need to use their Graviton Surge to do it.
Yeah, and that's the big one, though, because there is no trance now, because Violet used it just a split second too late, and that caused Super to fall. They were trying to get the maximum value out of that Transcendence. Meanwhile, on the other side, Super with the Graviton Surge, they're going to have to use the sound barrier to defend against Soman Su's grab now. It's going to be real tricky here for Shock on the retake. Maybe they can get an epic shatter from Super.
Right. Super at half health, though. They need to give him a little bit of healing before he gets aggressive here. They're going to catch him in the Graviton Surge. Super looking for a chance to counter Shatter. Not going to find it. Just had to hold that shield since the self-destruct was coming in as well. Now Super swinging away. Ooh, he wants to flank. He wants to get that Earth Shatter. Coming from behind, and he finds it. That's going to be a big one on a Twilight. Easy kill there for Sinatra. Super just making the plays now, but Bumper responds. Nobody knocked down with that Shatter, though, so it will be Shock flipping this point. Just a great heads-up play from Super. That's why he's one of the best.
And you can see the mind games there. Super shatters, and because you see Bumper thinking he's going to charge, so he charges perpendicular to him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't take the bait. That's the mind game right there. He's not actually charging. The rest of his teammates are coming around the other side. There's no barrier. There's no barrier there for the rest of his teammates. That becomes a team fight win for the San Francisco Shock.
Well, Slime and Twilight have their support ultimates at least, but it's not going to take very long for Moth to equalize, so San Francisco in a good position to defend this for a while, as long as they don't lose anybody. Well, Sinatra's got the grab.
Yeah, we're on board with Sinatra right now, waiting for him to find that opportunity to use the Graviton Surge, but San Francisco Shock, they just want to play defensively and milk all the percent they can.
Yeah.
No bubble right now. Have to back off right now. Bubble for Sinatra only. Has his ally bubbled now.
Just got to worry about Janu eating that Transcendence. They're going to get caught in their own Transcendence instead. That's a shatter onto Bumper here. San Francisco trying to equalize. Twilight uses a Transcendence to keep his tank alive. Now the grab comes in from Sinatra. Sound barrier from the Titans as they give their team the extra
so
shield.
low.
He's still alive for the moment, though. Janu self-destructed. Sinatra, he gets caught. He didn't have the bubble. He didn't have the self-shield. But the Zarya on the Titans side goes down too.
That was a great play by Hoxall. He zoned him into a corner knowing he didn't have the bubble up, and that forces the self-destruct kill. Fight continues apace.
Bumper nearly has another shatter here if he can live long enough to use it. He has to duck back around the corner. Shatter time. Oh, Gatwin gets blocked, though, and he is down. San Francisco.
Sinatra's here on the Sombra. Wants to close this out.
I think they will.
Tries to get as fast as he can, and it looks like they're going to.
I think they will. 90%, and the Shock close out this fight. Sinatra going to get himself about halfway. Maybe more.
I love that swap. I love that swap because you can clean this up and get an EMP to make sure you close.
Yeah.
You get there faster.
Very good. Very solid. And it's just clean up. All the respawns coming in for the Titans, and they're not going to be able to turn this fight around. And that is going to be the second control map this series that the San Francisco Shock have won 2-0.
And that's huge, Doa.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if we go the distance on this one, it will be Busan. So that's going to be very clutch. If Shock are doing so well at control, now they can push it into a Game 7. Like, it's going to be Game 7 if the Titans win.
The Shock put themselves one map away from taking the series. The desk breaks down the recent action when we come back.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Getting their revenge and finishing a perfect stage 2, but this one is still far from over. It's the Shock who are up 3-2 at the break. Welcome back to halftime, everybody. Malik here with Zoe, Brent, and Sideshow. Guys, this last stretch, super competitive. It looked like the San Francisco Shock were a little bit morally defeated after Paris, but they bounced back very strong.
Oh, yeah, they turned it back up. And that's kind of what we saw already from them in the past, right? As soon as it looked like, oh, they're looking shaky. And then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're done with the shenanigans. We're just going to roll through them. And that's exactly what they did on Gibraltar. Again, holding the enemies on their spawn. It's beautiful to watch.
But this is one of the things that separates good teams from truly great teams, and that's the ability to bounce back mentally and have that willpower to persevere, despite the fact that they lost on their map pick here, Paris. They got absolutely brutalized, full held, and then absolutely rushed down straight away. I think the map lasted about 4 minutes. I managed to get my food. I had 2 bites of it, and it was over. It was done. You know, I barely got a meal inside of me. But the ability for Shock to come back then into Gibraltar, which is their map pick also, and just bounce back immediately and set a blitzering pace all throughout the map is really a fantastic showing from them.
There are so many parallels to the Stage 1 finals when these two teams played there. That time it was Numbani when the Titans absolutely crushed them, and that was the Shock's map pick, and they had to come back out and they had to continue putting up stellar performances. That's what the San Francisco Shock did here on Gibraltar. They blitzed through the offense. You don't normally see a time of 1:30 to be able to capture the point, and then spawn camping them on the offense. I love how aggressive San Francisco are. They know that if they play aggressive and get up in the Titans' faces, force Bumper back, that is their best chance of victory.
Yeah, it's really unusual to see such far forward defenses, but you know, if you're the Shock, you can pull it off. And they had a great game plan coming into this. Not only did they once again manage to single out Bumper time and time again, taking him out, they were also doing a great job at actually shutting down Haxel. They did notice that he is a big threat for them, as he did stop a lot of their plays.
Oh yeah, this is a lovely play right here.
Sinatra using his self bubble to block the sound barrier there so he can get 2 kills is just ridiculous plays. It's so high level, sometimes you just miss it because it's so easy to miss, but stuff like that is what separates these teams from the middle of the pack and just makes them so good.
Right, I feel like we're seeing a whole bunch of stuff that we don't typically see in typical games of Overwatch.
Oh, yeah.
Like plays that are, for instance, if we go back to the first half when Super threw himself in the way to prevent Zenyatta or Violet from getting charged. Just as things like that, you're seeing a lot in this match. It's crazy. And you want to talk about championship level mental fortitude after Gibraltar. Moving on to Oasis, San Francisco Shock just nuts on that map.
Yeah, they really are. It looks like they have a massive advantage on control-type maps in particular. This really seems to suit San Francisco Shock's aggression, constantly attacking, constantly defending. The pace of the game goes up and up and up, and it's always the Shock that are coming out on top. Now, 2-0 in the first map, 2-0 now on Oasis. They are very, very clean on these control point maps.
And winning as well on the map that wasn't even their pick as well in the first place. I felt like their rotations were clean, it was crisp, they had a clear understanding, their own game plan coming in. This applies to Gibraltar as well, the map we just saw. I love that they're just sticking to their own game plan that we saw from the spawn camping. They're still going for these big plays, putting loads of pressure onto the Vancouver Titans. A lot of teams in this position as well, they sometimes get in their own heads and they get a little bit scared against the opponents they're facing. We see this all the time when teams play against New York Excel. They're showing them too much respect. Shock are not doing that here. They're just going fully forwards, showing no remorse.
Were you guys a little surprised that we didn't see the Bumpo come out on Oasis? I was expecting it on Oasis at the very least.
I was glad he didn't do it, to be honest. Not to take anything away from him, but you know, I do think they knew that's going to be tough against the San Francisco Shock on control maps in general, because they do have the upper hand. They have such impeccable positioning with their Zarya, etc., that it's really, really hard to take it away from them.
I just want to stress as well, this series is not over yet. Yes, the San Francisco Shock are up 3-2, but this is exactly what happened in the Stage 1 finals. The Shock were up 3-2, and they choked on the final 2 maps. They'll know that. They'll be thinking about that right now. They've had that experience, but it still remains to be seen whether they can actually turn it around.
All right, well, let's take a look at our map pool, because we got a hybrid map coming up next. Now, if you are the Vancouver Titans, which map were you selecting? Any of you guys can take this question.
Honestly, I have no idea. They've lost it once, so maybe it's repeatable. Perhaps.
It's a really bizarre scenario, actually, because both these teams are so crisp and they went undefeated in Stage 2 that their records are just astounding on all of these maps. There's no real clear weakness. I mean, it would make sense, I think, for them to pick Iconvolt given the record, but there's no guarantee of this. Blizzard World, yeah, you mentioned earlier, will we see the Bumper Hanzo? I mean, you could pull it out on either of those maps realistically. Blizzard World, they've been known to pull it out as well. People think they're styling on them. They think they're trolling them, but that's not the case.
No, like last time they rolled up out of the gate with a quad DPS composition, and that was not to troll. That was a set strategy, as you just said.
I haven't seen it fail yet. That's why I asked about it. I haven't seen it fail. All right, so guys, final thoughts going into this next stretch, the final stretch of this match. Zoe, I'm going to ask you again. You want to flip-flop?
No, why would I? Now more than ever, I will stick to my Shock pick.
Of course,
I do think if Violet can continue taking those crucial pickups early on in the fight, and Super is following it up with some big plays and a lot of aggression, I think they got it. They should be winning it this time around.
man.
Yeah, I'm going to be sticking with my short pick as well. I mean, I have a feeling this is going to be going the distance once again. We're going to be seeing a map 7. If we see some draws, we might even see even more maps than that. I mean, it could really go to distance.
If we do go to a map 7, the San Francisco Shock will have to pick between Rialto, which they got crushed on last time, and Junkertown, which is just a wild map. So if we go to that map 7, it could just be nuts. So that's what I'm hoping for, a 4-3 win for the Titans. I'll still stick with that.
I'm all about anarchy and pandemonium, Sideshow. Well, guys, you heard Sideshow say it. We've seen this movie before. The Shock are up 3-2. Can they finish this thing off? Can they close it out and be the Stage 2 champions? Or will Vancouver pull it off? We'll find out in just a bit.
Welcome back to the Overwatch League Stage 2 Finals, and the San Francisco Shock have found themselves one map win away from winning it all. But they've been in this position before. In fact, they were in it last stage against the same team.
And the Titans have been in so many close finals, so many game 7s at this point in time that they will be cool, calm, and collected under pressure. I think the real issue is, what map are they going to pick right now? The desk was discussing it, but Blizzard World, they lost yesterday. There was the one map that they've lost in these stage playoffs so far, and they lost it to the NYXL. And they also touched on the fact, I mean, they're picking it. This is definitely, I think, a risk. They came out of the gates against the XL with the 3 damage dealer solo tank composition coming in with Janu on the Wrecking Ball. But it didn't do a lot for them. NYXL was pretty dominant here. So they could just go for the 3-3. That would probably change their fortunes quite a bit.
I mean, you're right, though, about that Titans do not bend under pressure. I mean, I was in South Korea a little over a year ago now, watching them play their last finals in a tournament in Korea as Team Runaway. They went to map number 7 in that finals, still clutched it out. Like, this is a team that has been the definition of clutch in nearly all the big matches they've been in.
I think the issue too is San Francisco, they will select the next map if we go to map 7. And so having that in mind, unless we draw, I should say, but if they lose, they'll select. And they probably aren't going to pick Rialto like they did in the last stage finals.
Yeah.
Which could be a big difference maker for them. It's a map, though, that you can draw on for sure. Shock now going to be coming in around the outside. 3-3s for both teams. No surprise.
And no surprise, the Titans jump down Bumper first, and they're going to jump right onto Violet. Super takes Bumper out with the charge, though. So Shock, we'll see if they can fight their way through this one. Somansu taking a lot of damage, but they do get Super. So, I don't know, Choyobin looks like he might get demeched here. Rascal trying to flee as well, and so the Shock will reset.
Rascal, is he going to fall? Yes, he will. So
Ooh, that's big.
That's going to be a stagger, and that will give Bumper enough time. He's already back on the point with the rest of his team. Shock looked kind of unprepared to follow up on Super's charge.
Yeah.
They were split up early, and Violet goes down. It looked like half the team thought they should be heading out. Had they stayed together, I think they may have been able to capitalize on that fight, considering it was a 5 versus 5 nearly immediately, and Shock did have that respawn advantage closer to their own spawn. However, Titans are
they're
going to
doing it
retake the high
again.
ground.
And they managed to separate Rascal, and he's down. Soman Su getting the pick. And, I mean, I love the Titans because most of their strategy just is like, let's just jump on them.
Yeah.
And it works.
And the thing is that the way that the NYXL on their attack used the 3-3 into the Titans' 3-3 defense was by coming up the route you're seeing right now. It was by knocking them off the high ground first and then rotating all the way around the back to the choke point that the payload goes through. So they were trying to avoid a lot of the high ground advantage that the Titans would have. Shock are not doing that. They're not repeating the pathing of the NYXL that led to a successful point A attack yesterday.
They're repeating the pathing they've been doing the entire time here. Now the Graviton Surge comes in. Counter shatters.
Massive,
That's a big whoa. All right. Super. Once again bails his team out, and that is going to be a point A take.
Wow. That was quite a mighty combo there from the San Francisco Shock.
Dude.
It was looking like they may have been heading into full hold territory, but let's take a look at this one again. Watch the Graviton from Sinatra as well. So that gets thrown in at the same time. And they find the moment on the ball. It's just lucky.
I mean, you know that Reinhardt is going to be walking in and swinging his hammer, and Super just not wasting any time, taking advantage of the aggression of Bumper. Again.
And look at this now. It's still a Titans advantage, though. They held on to a lot of their ultimates because they died so quickly.
Yep.
Now they're going to back
Sinatra.
off. Ooh.
Moth did not want to have to use his shield right there.
Nice
Shatter
shatter by
comes in
Bumper.
onto Super, so things really falling apart in a big way for Shock. And that's big. That's really big for the Titans because now they're going to get to have a great defensive position with an ultimate advantage for a little while at the beginning of point B.
I mean, straight up the sound barriers today have been better for the Titans. That one, the team was not expecting it, the Shock. They were already in the process of disengaging and did not expect the sound barrier to come through. So communication error, and Titans will reap massive benefits out of that. It's just like a free ult advantage.
Pretty much. I mean, look, Soman Su is going to toss the grab in there. We'll see if they can win a fight off of this one as well. It's going to force the Transcendence out from Violet either way. So you're going to be happy with that.
Bumper low, Bumper very low.
Ooh, they have to get the Transcendence on the Vancouver side as well. Now Sinatra with his own grab. Goodbye, Slime. Moth in trouble. Twilight down. Looking good for San Francisco so far. That fight got a little bit weird, but San Francisco taking it in the end.
I mean, both of these teams are excellent at following up on forced support ults. Both of these fights now have had early support ultimates that have been used, and it's been the counterplay, the reaction from the other team that has catalyzed victories in these team fights. Sinatra there, he had a big punish off of the early trance.
Pretty much. Now you get a lot of distance if you're San Francisco Shock. And as far as ultimates go, it's going to be the Titans with a little bit of an edge, but I only say a little bit because the Shock are about to have full support ultimates, so they can swing it into their favor in a hurry. Bumper goes for an aggressive shatter, doesn't really deliver anything though. And now Super with a reverse shatter onto Janu, that's right. I believe he knocked down someone else as well. Super down, though, Hawksall takes him mid-charge, and now the Titans charging back in themselves on the back of that sound barrier, but no kills. They might want that one back. Oh, they do get Choyobin, so it's going to be a good fight. Titans will be happy with that one.
Shock again. They're sort of falling apart when it comes to their support ult usage. Violet and Moth both just stacking support ults right there on a fight that was already lost. Sound barrier in late. So they lose the fight and use both support ultimates. That's so damaging because Titans now, they're going to have that Graviton Surge. This should be an easy win. And with only 90 seconds left, this is going to be very hard for the Shock.
Yeah, you got to be more efficient than that. Grav, Soman Su just walks up and does it. Super gonna go down right after Rascal. Easy fight win for the Titans. Sinatra's gonna come back with his grab, but the Vancouver Titans are gonna have their Transcendence, so they're not gonna be too worried about that.
Yeah, they're not gonna be worried at all. So you can see them backing off very quickly. Trance is still available, like you say. So this is gonna be really problematic, I think, for the Shock. Can Violet charge up a Trance fast enough? Is probably gonna be the major question, because ideally for the Shock, you pull out the Trance with the Graviton Surge, and then you try and win what happens afterwards with your own Trance.
Right.
So there's a very tight window here for the Shock to take this point.
right? Shock need to get something done. They need to get it done now.
Yeah, they can't get picked off at all.
Yeah, Titans with the high ground.
Violet.
And they can hold that for quite a long time.
Violet needs this trance. Bumper has a shatter right now. He's going to be looking for that opportunity. Bumper's made some big shatter plays today already.
Yeah. Oh, a big shatter would pretty much end the round. We'll see if the Titans can do it.
Wow, aggressive charge there coming in from Super. Sinatra's going to pick up
Haxel!
Haxel. That's a free one. That is terrible for the Titans.
Oh, man, that is not what they can allow to happen. Now they're going to dedicate ultimates to this. They still want to win it. Sinatra with the grab, though. They lock up Janu. Janu, though, got that self-destruct, and Bumper goes in with the shatter. Sinatra in trouble. He got up just in time to get the shield. Twilight has to, or rather Violet has to use the Transcendence. Now the grab comes in from the Titans. Sound barrier, self-destruct from Chalk, not getting a whole lot. Haxel down again. He dies one more time, and the Titans are still going to fight this. All they need to do is win a fight, and they will win the round. We're into overtime for the Shock right now. Super goes! Oh no, Bumper! He's the one who falls. Super had like no health, but they somehow kept him alive. What in the world was that?
A Shock constantly fighting with a player advantage, and they are able eventually to bend it to their will.
I don't know how they kept Super alive there. That was crazy.
Split spawn, that is huge. And yeah, keeping Super alive, massive. But the Shock are very good at keeping Super up. Super plays a more passive style where he will start retreating when he gets low, and they save their cooldowns a lot of the time to save Super. Happens again there. Sinatra, he's trying to build up to that grab. So-and-so very far away from a graviton of his own right now.
You saw average energy 72%. That's insane for a Zarya. That's a ton of damage.
It's 73% for So-and-so. They are neck and neck.
Oh, that great Zaryas. No surprise there. Bumper in a lot of trouble.
Off the
he's
side.
Going to get knocked in. Oh, no, he didn't get knocked in, but he's going to take a lot of damage either way. Sinatra with the grab again. But it's on the cart. No, the cart is not on the enemy team. You don't grab the cart. So-and-so's grab gets eaten by Choyobin, and Moth is down. So the Titans with a 6v5, maybe off the back of Violet's Transcendence.
Shatter. The Shatter turns
the kills. They do. They flip the fight, and they're going to keep this payload moving. That is 2 clutch fights in a row for the Shock now.
I mean, Super Shatter turned that around 100% for the team.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that the grab got eaten on the side of the Titans. Big plays from the Shock to keep this push alive. They've got 10 seconds to finish this map.
And remember, this is a map they're trying to win the entire series. Bumper has to throw that shield up to block the self-destruct. Now the Shatter comes in, a Dark Down Moth and Super. Janu gets another one, and at the last moment, the Titans coming back. And it looks like they might actually be able to win this and stop the payload before it reaches the end. They will. So despite the heroics, the Titans still do stop them short of completing the attack round.
Yep, and that means it doesn't have to get quite to the end for the Titans to take the win here on Blizzard World. High fives on the Shock side. Decent push, nothing extraordinary.
Well, you've put yourself in a position, you put yourself in a position where you can actually defend and win the map yet.
Yes, you can. And let's see what the Titans are going to do. They came out with that multi-DPS look. Obviously, that's going to be in the heads now of the San Francisco Shock.
Right.
Do you run the Winston here, or do you stick with the Reinhardt and try and play the long game? You probably stick with the Rein, just because you know they have to push almost all the way through the map, and even if you lose that first point, you'll have a 3-3 ult advantage heading into the rest of your defense, or at least at the very start. So I think that's probably what you do, but Shock may have other ideas.
Super doing his best to keep his hands warm. It is a bit chilly in the arena, as it usually is, so gotta have warm hands, gotta have the hot hands to play the Reinhardt, to play pretty much anything, really, in Overwatch. Oh, it's Murloc Island. That's the only safe place on this map, actually. I would be retreating to Murloc Island right now if I was, like, an attendee at Blizzard World today.
Yeah, it does seem quite dangerous there. I'd be riding those roller coasters in the background. Those look fun and also out of harm's way.
They look fun right until a Zenyatta orb hits you and knocks you right out of it. Remember, no damage fall off. You're not safe. You're not safe on that roller coaster from Zenyatta.
That's true.
That's right.
So San Francisco Shock usually like to play low ground defenses here on Blizzard World. Not the high ground they saw from the Titans. Titans going to go for the Rhine 3-3. They will not be repeating the strategy that lost them Blizzard World when they played yesterday against the Excelsior.
No Bumper Hanzo this time. Much to the sadness of the fans, but
maybe
if you're a real
fans.
Titans fan, yeah, I was going to say, if you're a Titans fan, you're probably okay with that.
I think you're probably okay.
Yeah.
So Summonsoo gonna. Ooh, this is
Bit of
interesting.
flanking. All right.
A little bit of flanking here from the. It's a low energy Zarya, so it's gonna be a little tickle.
I mean,
right now.
he's tempting the shock to collapse on him, right?
Well,
That's going
he's
to let the team come in from
yes,
the other side.
he's trying to force him out of position.
Yeah.
They're not going to take the bait, though.
Nope.
But now the Titans have muscled their way onto the point. Super are going to be looking on the outside in. Tank chunk down right now.
Yeah, you got to be
Percentage
careful.
building up for the Titans.
And no Zarya shield for Super at the moment. Choya Bin
Oh, Bump
in a
is
little bit
so
trouble.
low, but they can't finish him off. Barrier still there.
Yeah, he's got plenty
for
of
the
shield
Reinhardt.
left here.
Yeah, you do have to back off, though.
Oh,
and Violet's
nice
is going
pick.
to land a headshot onto Summonsoo.
That's how you do it, man. You're not safe anywhere from this Zenyatta. Roller coaster or behind a house or something like that. Murloc Island, nowhere is safe from Violet. He's got his Transcendence now, too. He's in great shape.
Violet's having an outstanding day
Yeah.
so far. You have to admit, even if you are a Titans fan, Violet has been dominating. It's helped that he's had very little pressure on him, but considering that he's been given a lot of space, he's created big plays in this series.
Absolutely. So the Titans will have some ultimates coming online for themselves after a little bit of poking here on their next attack. We'll see how aggressive they want to do because Shock has a big ult advantage right now. You can't just rush into this if you're the Titans.
Yeah, playing the corners. Looks like they're going to try and take this high ground. They know Sinatra has the Graviton right now. Summonsoo nearly matching. They drop back down.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, Bumper starting to swing a little bit here. Summonsoo use that self shield.
Rally used later for the shock.
All right, that's okay. Grab comes in from the Titans. Shatter not getting a whole lot. Now the grab comes in. Bumper in big trouble. Can they keep him alive? They can. Barely keeping him alive with the Transcendence. Now the Titans need to strike back. They've got 2 ticks already. They've nearly got Point A taken. All right, Sound Barrier, Shock, re-engaging both teams using that Lucio ult to get the extra shield.
Bumper so low, but he's going to...
Oh, Violet!
The Janu, the counter, self-destruct makes the play.
And they finally break through here. Moth does get
grab?
the D-Mech onto Janu. Yeah, another grab from Sinatra. And are you kidding
It's a 2
me?
versus 2. Sinatra still alive. Sinatra makes the play. He charges another grab in the fight, and they come back, and that's it for Twilight.
I mean,
the Titans are wiped.
You look at the Overwatch League, you do not see many players better than Sinatra. I don't think you see any players better than Sinatra right now.
Not on Zarya, you have to say.
He is saving them right now.
Well,
and keep in mind, there's 1 minute standing between the San Francisco Shock and a Stage 2 Finals victory.
This could be their revenge for last stage on the Titans.
Yep.
Summonsoo has a grab, though. That's what they have to contend with right now. Violet still 25%, needs a little bit more time. How fast can Summonsoo chuck this grab out?
They need to get something done fast. There's a shatter. It's a big one. Can you save the grab now? They stand back up. Bumper in big trouble. They're going to use the grab. Can they get in there? Flying through is Janu to do the damage, and they're taking out members of the Shock left and right. So it looks like, despite the heroics from the Shock at the end, they're going to have to give up Point A. So the Titans will get a chance to get that payload going. Shock nearly had it. They've still got a good chance to defend this one.
I mean, absolutely. They have an excellent chance right now. Shock are coming in with an advantage into this next fight. I mean, the Titans had to just throw everything at that to make sure that they weren't going to fall. Violet now has the Transcendence up, super nearly there at a Graviton. And so this should be a choke fight win here for the Shock unless the Titans can pull out something amazing.
All right, here we go. Super. Oh, he throws down the Shatter. Gets a couple. 2 members, I believe. Now he gets a charge onto Janu. A lot of damage as Hawksall falls as well. There goes Twilight. And so the Shock get their defense going. Off to a great start here on Point B. 2:20 on the clock for the Titans.
Did expend the Transcendence, but they hold the Graviton. Summonsoo nearly up at a grab as well. So we're back now into sort of mirror ultimate territory. Sound barriers up for both teams.
Sinatra doing a ton of damage from this high ground as well. Just roasting the Titans as they try to push forward. Now Bumper getting aggressive. They've got Summonsoo grab. They're going to use it. Sinatra will he counter grab? We will see. Moth down, so this might be the time to save it. They're going to try to back away, and yeah, they're too separated right now. Oh, Sinatra! Oh no! That grab hit nothing. The Titans winning the fight, and now they've got 5 ultimates to keep pushing. That is tragic for the Shock.
Sinatra thought they were pursuing, and that he was going to catch him on the corner, but the Titans, I mean, it was just a split there on the Shock side. Rascal was still in the back line, and they were spending the attention on him instead, and That is really bad because look at the Titans. 5 ults, nearly 6 ults right now. This is the kind of advantage that can snowball for the rest of this map.
Yeah.
You look at that time and you might say, well, the Titans have to win every fight. But the thing right now is they can. They can do it as long as they are very smart with their ult economy. And that is something the Titans are quite good at.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason they're here. There's a reason they won Stage 1. There's a reason they haven't lost a match yet in 2019. Bumper walking forward now. And again, Shock just trying to build up their own ultimates, just trying to poke. And they've done a pretty good job of it here. Hawksall with the rally. There's the Shatter, knocks on Rascal. Ooh, the Transcendence needs to be used. That's a big self-destruct from the Titans too, pushing everybody in the Shock out of position. Now the grab comes in, and there's not much defense for this. Bumper knocked back as he tries to charge. That saved Rascal's life, actually.
It did!
But Super needs saving too. Self-destruct. Okay, Titans. Somansu down. How in the world did they lose him? That's crazy. Slime out of the way, too. Bumper gets the kill on Super, but it's all Shock right now. It's going to be 20 seconds. The Titans, they need to scramble. Shock might have just done it.
That was an epic win from the Shock. Coming back, buying time to get their ults online, and stopping the charge was so massive.
Yeah.
And now Bumper has to switch to the Wrecking Ball. This is the Titans. Will they lose for the first time ever in the Overwatch League?
Desperation mode for the Vancouver Titans as they walk back in. We're in overtime. Slime is down. Shock. They are moments away. They've got a fight advantage to send themselves to the champion podium here. Shock, they have the sound barrier. They've got the advantage. A big shatter under the cart. Somansu knocked down. He's taken out soon. Janu down as well. And the Shock, they may have done it.
They're
Only Bumper
right now.
remaining. Hawksall just trying to stay on the point, but that's going to be it. The grab from Sinatra comes in, and the Shock have done it. They are your Stage 2 champions. And it had to happen sometime. The Vancouver Titans handed their first loss, but the Shock getting the win that was denied them in stage number 1 and doing it in dominant fashion. The San Francisco Shock going from the beginning of stage 2 to here in the championships, losing a grand total of 3 maps along the way. 2 of those in this series. What a run for the Shock.
You can see Krusty, their coach's face, in tears right now. He's done an excellent job with this roster. He has taken a bunch of young players and he has turned them into stage champions. And the Titans, this is their first taste of defeat in nearly a year.
Yeah, you gotta keep that in mind for the Titans here. They have not lost as a squad since the middle of 2018, but the streak had to end at some point, right? And the Shock, this is the team that was promised last year by San Francisco, saying, you know, we're going to pick up players that are too young to play right away. We're going to train them. They're going to turn 18. They're going to start playing, and they're going to win. And that is exactly what we're seeing here in stage number 2. It's a 4-2 victory in the end for the San Francisco Shock. And what a rivalry is building between these two teams right now. You gotta look ahead and wonder what's going to happen in stage 3 at this point, because neither of these teams look like they're going to slow down anytime soon. What a series, though. That was a fun one.
Absolutely. Epic back-to-back finals here.
Yeah.
1 win for each of our top 2 teams.
You gotta love it. Man, what a great series. As you can see, Mika Burton standing by with the entire San Francisco Shock roster to break down that series.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with the entire emotional San Francisco Shock. Congratulations. You guys have completed the anime redemption arc. You have taken revenge on the Vancouver Titans. You have gotten the first win against them. How are you feeling right now?
I don't know. I don't know. I'll be honest, I have no idea.
That's a very valid feeling, just not even knowing. And this momentum for the San Francisco Shock has been insane, going from where you guys were in season 1 to here, stage 2 champions. Are we going to keep seeing this momentum? Are we going to see another golden stage from you guys in stage 3, or is that too much to ask right now?
I don't know about a golden stage, but you'll see more wins.
All right. I love your confidence, Super. And obviously you guys are going to...
Oh yeah, I also want to shout out Ark, Pooks, and Sleepy because they helped us do our warm-up scrims yesterday and today. So shout out to you guys.
That's pure. That's pure. And you guys are obviously going to go out and celebrate and have a good time. I know that I heard talks of a team trip to Hawaii. So is this a bargaining chip? So possibly having some celebration, some fun?
Who's going? Who? Who's going to Hawaii? Are you?
What? Well, now I put it in everybody's mind. So, coaches, celebration in Hawaii sounds great. Yeah, everybody's going to party.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I know you're watching.
Oh, that's so cute. Well, thank you guys. Congratulations. Give yourself another round of applause. Audience, give them another round of applause. So I'm going to go make some snow angels and confetti. That's all we have now. Back to you guys up at the Caster's Nest.
Thanks, Mika. Hey, if anybody deserves a trip to Hawaii, it's definitely going to be everybody on that team on your screen right in front of you. What an insane run for the Shock, not dropping a map in the entire regular stage, only dropping 3 total in the playoffs, including the 2 today. Wow.
And people question it. Did they have too easy of a schedule? Is that why they had the golden stage?
Yeah.
Were they going to be able to overcome their nemesis, the Titans? Well, the answer is emphatically yes. The Shock have won stage 2, and they are looking like the most dominant team in the league.
Absolutely. And so, it is a match at the end of the day like any other match, so we have to crown our player of the match. By win by HP. Let's see who it's going to be. It will be none other than the flex support, Violet. That's right. The Vancouver Titans said they were worried about him going into this one, and we saw why. The picks that came through from him all match long were fantastic. His ultimate timings were very, very good. Definitely a big part of delivering the Shock this Stage 2 playoffs final win.
And the Titans came in with a game plan to punish some of Moth's aggressive positioning, it looked like.
Yeah.
And they didn't put a lot of pressure on Violet, despite saying they were worried about him. But the thing is, you have to choose how you're going to attack your opponents. And, you know, Violet has to do something with that lack of pressure as well. And he absolutely did. I love the synergy between him and Sinatra on a lot of those graviton surges. His high ground positioning opened up chances for him to make picks, and he came through. He delivered 33 final blows to 33 deaths. Impressive stuff from Violet overall, and I think he had an outstanding series.
I mean, over the course of 6 maps, too, having an average time to ult of 1 minute and 2 seconds. That's really fast for Zenyatta as well. My only complaint, more healing than damage. Come on. Come on, you're Zenyatta, man. Just get that damage up there. It's okay. He did fine. They won anyway. San Francisco Shock. What a great series. 6 games is all it takes for them to win it 4-2.
And I think you come out of this, too, wondering about that Blizzard World pick. I think a bit of a risk there on the side of the Vancouver Titans, but Shock will take full advantage of that and not send us to that map 7.
That's right. So that's it for the games, but don't go anywhere yet, guys, because we've got the coverage. The desk on Watchpoint breaks down that epic series when we come back. It's been a great Stage 2. We've loved casting it for you. Enjoy Watchpoint. We'll see you in Stage 3.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Good afternoon and welcome back to another edition of the Watchpoint Post Show live from the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. Also, happy Mother's Day to everybody. You've heard me say it many times. Anyways, guys, I'm your host, Malik Forte, joined as always by Zoe, Bryn, and Josh. Guys, they did it! That was in shock. They pulled it off. Put a ball on stage 2, baby.
Pulled out the shock-themed confetti as well. For
the occasion.
Oh, yeah.
Vancouver also got the shock-themed confetti last stage.
What an unreal finals, though. Again, like, this is just phenomenal. Like, Monte Cristo says that the Overwatch League is not an anime. I'm sorry, mate, but this is just evidence against it. Like, the redemption arc that's coming in, the revenge coming in from San Francisco Shock. It's just, I'm drained emotionally, honestly, from the end of this. It's just fantastic.
It was so good, yeah.
It really was.
And it's really set up like a rivalry between these two teams now as well. The Vancouver didn't win the second time around. Now they're going to be looking for a revenge in stage 3 in the playoffs. Like, it sets everything up for the rest of the season too.
Bro, they looked angry. They looked angry. But guys, let's put a bow on stage 2. It's a wrap. And the San Francisco Shock are our stage 2 champions. But guys, it was such an amazing day. So let's go ahead and jump right into what you guys learned today.
What did I learn? I think I learned that Sinatra is an actual god. That's just it.
Yeah.
His tracking is insane. I've not seen that since actually ever, and I can't believe how it looks like his like cross thingy is actually glued to the opponent.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Cross thingy.
Crosshair, yeah.
Okay, this is my 5th language, everyone. I'm trying my best.
You can say aim and reticule.
The cross
amazing,
thingy.
because you've been playing games longer than all of us, and you forgot the word for crosshair, but I love that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't usually speak in a different language when I'm playing games.
But no, I have to agree with you, so he's definitely godlike.
Thank you.
For sure. What about you, Bryn?
Man, oh man. I mean, this just gets put on me every time, and I don't know what to say. But I will say this. In the pre-show, I talked about Violet and how this is a big challenge for him and an opportunity for him to prove himself as an undisputed, probably the best flex support currently in the league. Yeah. We always talk about Twilight. We always talk about Jonak. Violet kind of falls to the wayside when it comes to a lot of these discussions. Right now, after that win, I don't think anyone's disputing it. I mean, he was the player of the match. You know, this guy played unreal. A lot of these clutch moments, he was getting a lot of the entry kills as well for them. It's just a phenomenal player all around. And I think as well, he's got over the biggest weakness of his was always it felt like he was always weaker on stage in these big, tense moments a lot of the times, and it feels like he's cleaned that up now. This experience under his belt has helped him. I think he's going to be a phenomenal player even into the future.
No joking today for Violet. I agree with you on that one too, Bryn. What about you,
I think what I've learned is that throughout, when you kind of look back at Shock Stage 2, they really have developed. Like, looking at them today and contrasting that to their Stage 1 finals, it's not just that they won. It's very easy to say that they improved because they won, but just what they were able to take advantage of, the minimization of their own mistakes, the speed at which they react to things, the amount of pressure they were putting on Vancouver. They looked in control of this series, whereas they didn't look like they were in control the whole time of the previous one. The development from this team has been spectacular, even just throughout Stage 2.
I can see what you're saying. It looked like they were not on the defense as much this time around as they were the last time, indeed. Well, the Stage 2 finals was a rematch of the Stage 1 finals, but could the Shock change the result, or would the Titans repeat? Coming out of the gate, the Shock showed they were trying to rewrite the script. Right from Lijiang Tower, they looked like they were ready to play. The mental fortitude, the resilience, the passion. These guys came out firing on all cylinders in this matchup.
It was a game of up and downs, it felt like, as well. I mean, the opening of this, I think we all commented, the very opening of Lijiang, that Shock, they looked a bit uncertain in a lot of their gameplay, but they cleaned up very nicely as this map progressed as well into Lijiang, cleaning up into 2 rounds, not even giving the Titans really a chance to even come back into it when it comes to it. So it's just, again, cementing just how potent this team
Their focus fire was so on point. I love listening to them. When we get to listen to them during those big clutch moments, their comps are so clean. It's so set. It's just so well coordinated. And again, like, the focus fire was just absolutely on point.
Yeah, it looks like almost the difference between the Titans, who are like a hive mind. They don't have to communicate as much. They have all of that experience playing with each other, and it's all done via intuition. And then the San Francisco Shock are very much about planning. They know what the strategy is. They come in very prepared from their coaching staff. They always have a game plan going into every fight. A lot of communication from everybody on the team. It's interesting to see these two styles conflict. today it was definitely preparation that won out.
And this is something that we need to talk about as well, because a lot of the time we could give credit to Krusty, a lot of the time in fact, but there are two other coaches on this squad. They've got Jungbook and also 9K as well behind the scenes. We don't talk about enough, honestly. Kind of stay behind the scenes a lot of the time, but they also have a big part in the reason why San Francisco Shock are as dominant as they are. And it comes down to
will you add them to your shrine?
Right?
They are minor deities of the Church of
Okay,
Krusty.
nice.
Yeah, I think as well they've done a great job at making the players on San Francisco Shock smarter. Bren, you were talking about it in our pre-show quite a lot, that these players have also improved and developed so much. And the trio in the front line of Super, Sinatra, Rascal, these guys are core communicators for the San Francisco Shock and also set up a lot of these plays. Honestly, Super and Sinatra heavily outplayed their opponents here. In terms of the individual
Maybe
matchups,
not on this map, but-
well, no, not on this map actually. They got bossed. This was the one that was clearest in favor of the Vancouver Titans, which I think is interesting actually. Before I go into that point about the front line, there do seem to be some holes in San Francisco Shock's map pool, which I wonder whether they'll be exploitable in the future. At the moment, it seems fairly even, but even like Monsiador we're talking about, maybe the Blizzard World pick was a bit of a problem for Titans later on, because Eichenwald, potentially you'd expect them to be better there.
Yes, I'd also make the argument as well that Paris, though, the nature of the map as well, it's new. It's a little bit weird is the word I would use to describe the layout of it, the geography. I mean, the first point has high ground, defending advantage, and a big choke point, right? It's a weird map. It's designed very differently to a lot of other ones.
Take a look at the stats here of Bumper versus Super as well. I mean, final blows, yes, Bumper gets the upper hand, but that's because he's right at the front all the time, whereas Super shares it with the rest of his front line. But Earthshatter stuns, he was getting way more. And in terms of like his overall effectiveness, it was Super the whole way. The reason that the stats don't show as much dominance as you might expect is because they got plowed on Paris as well. Bumper just running into Super over and over and destroying him. But over the course of this series, the front line from the San Francisco Shock absolutely outplayed the front line from the Vancouver Titans, in my opinion. So Min Soo was really getting picked off in a lot of key scenarios, and Super was just on point the whole series. Just no mistakes, perfect, flawless game from the Zarya player.
I mean, I feel like we can make a highlight reel just based off the front lines plays alone. But guys, after dropping the first map, the Titans came back to take the next two. But let's see how the second half played out, starting with map 4 on Gibraltar. And I think this is where we start to see the San Francisco Shock really start to turn up the volume here in this matchup.
I'll be honest, when we were listening to them at the beginning of Gibraltar, they seemed a little bit down. But we were talking about this in our second halftime of the match. They picked it back up so quickly.
Right, it's the point I was making in the halftime, is that that's what separates good teams from the best. And that's the ability to come back, bounce back mentally in this game. And they did just that after being crushed on Paris. I mean, we can't underestimate how much that takes out of a team to be able to do that. I mean, how many teams are able to do that in the Overwatch, realistically?
The thing is, we talked to them about this. They said you just can't show too much respect. As soon as you play a little bit more scared, you lose in the game. So they didn't play scared. They didn't show them any respect. They gave them zero room to play with. In fact, they were all up in their grills. They played more aggressive than what we've seen from them even prior in that series, and that was already very aggressive. And I think Vancouver Titans truly struggle because I don't think they have been facing up against a team which just, went fire.
I completely agree. Yeah.
I don't even know where to end the sentence.
I know exactly where you're going with this.
Thank you.
It's the fact that they don't show them the respect that a lot of other teams do. This is a trap that a lot of teams fall into when they're playing against teams like NYXL, like the Titans, is that they get scared of them. This kind of overwhelming force that they're up against. They see this massive win streak that they're on, and sometimes I think a lot of teams get in their own heads and they end up starting to play a lot more passive when it's realistically should be the opposite in a lot of scenarios.
The players in the comms, they just yelled at each other. I think it was Super taking the lead there, saying just be aggressive, just go in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, Vancouver Titans are not used to playing against a team that cycles aggression through their front line so perfectly. There's normally it's between the Rhine and the Rhine, and that's kind of how Vancouver Titans play. But the San Francisco Shock push Sinatra so aggressively that he takes a lot of space off Super, so he can be able to relieve pressure from Super. Then Choyobin and Rascal come in as well, and it was so difficult for Titans to be able to punish because they are clean at being able to make that work.
Well, you want to talk about a turn of events. It looked like San Francisco Shock were on the verge of being full held here at Blizzard World, but this ended up being the map that essentially clinched the series for them.
That was a clinch. Honestly, at the very end, I mean, Vancouver Titans came into the street phase there with a very good ult economy. They had the upper hand, and then just bit by bit, San Francisco draw out that fight and have some great clutch individual plays, which actually wins them.
Came back to the same question that we were asking. They were in a similar situation to this before. They went 3-2 in the Stage 1 playoffs. And it was the question of, are they going to get in their own heads? Are they going to let Vancouver Titans come back? That's a scenario in Blizzard World there when they pushed it in, a scenario where they could have essentially crumbled under the pressure. They didn't. They managed to hold strong.
It wasn't even that they didn't crumble as well. They unbelievably clutched the final fight. Vancouver Titans came in with 6 ults.
6 ults.
6 ults, Brent, yeah. And Shock only had 1. They only had the Earth Shatter. They managed to sustain a bunch of ults, build up their own, and still win that fight. I mean, that is
again, that was based on impeccable positioning. So Hyobin flanked from up there. Sinatra was up on the left, and then Bumper didn't really know where to go because he was pressured from Super in the front line, and Joy and Sinatra came from the back. So that they really struggled to have a rotation there.
Could you guys say that it was a rare choke from the Titans not winning that fight? 6 ults going in and not being able to pull off the victory in that?
Well, see, the weird thing is, I'm not even sure that the Vancouver Titans played that too poorly. I'm not. I would have to go and rewatch it, I think, because I was caught up in the emotion of the moment. But it didn't look like Vancouver Titans threw it away. It looked like unbelievable play from the San Francisco Shock. They're just so coordinated.
Crisis management.
Yeah.
To the highest level.
But it is bizarre as well. It's crazy to think, though. Let's reflect on the Vancouver Titans as a team, right?
Yeah.
Because this is an undefeated team for over a year. Overwatch contenders, moving into the Overwatch League. Hadn't lost a game in over a year, Monty hit on. And this is their first loss in quite some time. And you can see how hard it's hit them now. I think they came into the league with this mindset that they were just going to be dominant. They were going to be undefeatable.
Right.
And I think they've been shooken now to their core. Because now they've got another competitor right now. The San Francisco Shock are competing with them. They've brought them to this level that I don't think a lot of teams have brought to them in quite some time.
Yeah. I was making jokes before we went live that, maybe NYXL softened them up a bit and yada, yada. I don't really think that's the case, but I will say that I'm going to be saying a lot that I'm kind of scared of how the Titans are going to bounce back because we have not seen this yet for a long time, and it's going to be interesting to see. But guys, coming up, we'll dive a little deeper into our Stage 2 finals and take a look ahead at what's in store for both the Titans and the Shock. More Watchpoint Post Show coming up.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
That was an extreme excitement there. I hope Violet didn't break the monitor through the headset there. Well, that's a well-deserved win for the Shock. It's a perfect way to cap off their goating stage. So, Zoe, I got to ask you, do you think